Yes, people. Good night. Welcome back to Mike and Mike. We're delighted that you can join us one more time, and please continue to help share, like, and subscribe, and spread the word. Without further ado, we're gonna jump right into it. You know, the original panel. King Tox is in the house.
Yes, I just wanted to add, I love being here. This is one of my safe spaces.
Yeah, they coming for him though, you know. Watch it.
They're not coming for me.
And you know, we got Baby Trump Jr., a.k.a. Mike over there.
Mr. White, a.k.a. the intelligent investor, okay? Who's that? Somebody just called you, I think.
Yeah, they'll come.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so, we're going to jump right into it. So, what's on the agenda, guys? What we see the Chinese
Yuan, yup.
Yuan
Dropped. First time
dropped.
it dropped in 18 years.
And
Coincidence? I think not.
trouble is coming, but I don't think it's gonna affect the boys them over there. The boys them are strong.
No, it's not. It's affecting them
Strong.
right now. Remember, look, they also, not only did the money drop, did the yuan drop, but they're also having a property crisis over there.
What property crisis?
There's not enough land. There's not enough property. They have way too many people in that nation.
I mean, I know they're overpopulated. That's
Yeah,
that's
come
one.
on.
That is true.
Let's put it this way: there's how many people? How many people are in the world? There's 7 billion people in the world.
8.2.
8 billion people. 8 billion people in the world. I think what is it? It's something like 2 billion people are in China.
China, right? They take about like
That's 25% of the world's population.
2% or 3, something like that.
It's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. Not
yeah.
enough land. There really is. There's a property crisis going on right now.
Really?
So there's been one going on, and then now the yuan just dropped.
The government was. I think the government was had. It was on the news for a while. I think maybe 2 years or 3 years ago, where they had set up in the Chinese society where they started controlling how many kids you produce a year.
Oh, it's been like that forever.
Yeah, it's
And
a
on top,
long
yeah,
time.
it's been like that forever.
I think they were like more enforcing it.
Yeah.
Like hardcore enforcing it.
It's been like that forever.
Since I've been a young man, I've
Right?
I've known about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like
And they
a certain
value
amount
boys.
of-
They value having boys over girls or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
a certain amount of kids you're allowed to have as
Right.
Chinese parents. I think it was 1 or 2, and they would prefer boys.
And they prefer boys over girls.
Unaliving girls, allegedly.
I don't know why they do that, because again, if you have more guys, and I guess the strategy is to kind of try to control reproductive
Rights. Yeah, I mean, that could be the case. Like you said, I'm like, China's always been somewhat of a militarized nation, so they figure if there's more men being born, that's more soldiers that can be created.
Yeah, I think they're looking from a military.
Yeah, no, I'm like, they've always been militaristic.
Yeah,
It's
from a
it's
military perspective.
Yeah.
Females, they stay home, cook for the soldiers, and push out babies and maintain the house and moving right along. I don't know.
That doesn't sound right.
Well,
I don't know. I guess because we live here and everything's expensive. So my girl got to work. You're not going to be in the house. And we'll split cooking duties.
Well, you know, you have, I mean, when
So
you
what's,
look,
what's new? What's
you look
new?
at the culture over India, their woman can't work. Is it India? Yeah, their women don't work. It's
Really?
like almost like a crime to work.
That's funny because over here, all the Indians, all the wives are nurses and candy strippers at the
I
hospital.
mean, in a different country, they have
Yeah,
more
yeah.
freedom. They're not controlled. So, yeah. So the thing is now, why we realize today we see that Trump pulled back his tariff worldwide, except he's still attaching to my boys over there in China.
Because those are not your boys.
So my boys, man, my boys.
Don't forget. Remember, they messed up the West Indies because they're the biggest merchants in the West Indies. So don't say that they're your
But
boys.
again, the Mexicans allow it, especially Jamaica. They allow this crap to come for these guys to come in and do all these.
I don't get you. So this administration want to put a stop to it here, and you have a problem with it, but Jamaica allow it. allows it, and you have a
No,
problem.
I'm saying Jamaica been allowing these things to happen from
Pick a
ever
side.
since. I'm being balanced.
That's
the
not
difference.
balance. You're saying that Jamaica is weak because they allow the Chinese, I guess, businessmen.
Yeah, I'm like, from what I understand, they're the biggest merchants in the
You have to have-
in the Caribbean, not just in Jamaica, just in Caribbean in
You
general.
have
They're
to
like the
have
biggest
some
merchants.
structure. Whether you the funniest thing is that with Jamaica out. I wouldn't even say out. So they just sold themselves out. I mean, and I keep on repeating it. It's not like a broken record. We selling our backside, which is our minerals and dirt.
What you said,
for
the penny a ton? It was
penny
like a penny
a
a ton.
ton.
Or something? Penny a ton.
This is one of the things, and it was a part of the Chinese culture who were buying this stuff between them and their U.S. So at the end of the day, my thing is that they need to cut down on certain things, just like how the Trump and his allies and everybody else need to stop certain things. I mean, yes, I from day one, I tell you certain things what Trump is doing, I support him 100%. I shake his hand if I can.
Like what?
The raise spending, that's one, and that's one. I think that was one of the most impactful thing for society, where is a lot of millions of dollars we were throwing away. Trump and the Doge boys came in and they saw some of these crap and they just started. Oh, so far based on the last report I've seen is $130-something billion these people saved so far.
Yeah.
By cutting out some of these back end underground, on the table
Yeah.
crap. What
it's
the
funny.
Democrats and Republicans were doing.
Yeah. It was both sides. It just wasn't one side.
Yeah.
For people to think that it was just one side, that's just ludicrous. But no, it definitely was both sides. But what's funny is that, look, $130 billion, that's still a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
But if you hear some people that they hate Trump so much, they're like, oh, well, they initially said $2 trillion. Okay, fine, they were wrong. But it's still $130 billion that's saved up. $130 billion is a lot of money.
And they still probably have more to go.
Yeah.
Way more to go.
This is going to be, look, let's put it this way. This is going to be an ongoing governmental thing. To where once, I'm like, it's going to take them forever to really, I'm like, basically what they're doing, you're scrubbing. These are efficiency experts. You're scrubbing. So with the federal government, which probably has the most waste out of any business ever, because if any regular private corporation ran their business the way the federal government, they'd be way under, they'd be bankrupt, out of business, like that. So once the federal government is done being scrubbed through, then what's going to happen is that this whole Doge process, this Doge method, that's when it's going to start hitting private corporations. And that's really, like, to be honest, I can't wait till Doge goes inside MTA.
You know what?
I would love for Doge.
Funniest thing, I want them to come, but the problem is that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The problem is that Oakland and these other goon heads down here, where they're trying to push this congestion pricing crap still on society. I don't know what she needs to go to.
No, but see, even that, she's violating. Didn't he put an executive order to stop
He
that?
put it, and then they kind of avoided,
That's treason. They can't do that.
I mean, they can in a sense because they are state. They're governed by state. So the federal government really can oversee to a certain extent. They can overreach them. But at the same time, these guys, I'm trying to figure out, Trump need to find he and his boys to find some loophole in there and attack these bastards here in New York.
Well, most likely, you know what's going to happen if New York
To shut this crap down.
Hold on.
Sure.
Did he just say what he just
Yes,
said?
Yes, I'm
see,
saying
that's
it.
what I'm saying. Was you see? Well, Mike, like I said, he's gonna end up being a believer. I don't,
Why don't you
he's
say
saying,
the Chinese
don't
need
you
to
understand? His
find-
third eye is opening.
What?
His pineal gland is opening, so he's
What
learning.
Chinese?
The
What Chinese have nothing to do with here?
Exactly, Chinese have nothing to do with the U.S. They don't have
Correct. We're
anything to
talking
do with
about
the
U.S.
economy,
again.
right?
Remember, we have a balance here. We're talking about the U.S. Chinese have
We're
nothing
talking
to do
about
with
New
here.
York now.
We are talking about New York with these greedy bastards.
So why do you want Trump to help you? Right?
Trump
And
to
you
help
dislike
me?
Trump, yeah.
No, because right now at the end
Us, not you, because we are
The state of New York,
Yorkers,
yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, it's us. So
Yeah, we're
at the end
New
of the
Yorkers.
day,
It
I
affects
think Trump number one never supported this crap. What these greedy ass.
Is that a good thing or is that a bad
It's a
thing?
good thing.
Right.
He never supported.
So
remember,
you like Trump now?
No, it's not the point of liking. I
Trump
keep on telling you that
2020.
I have a balance. The guy does some good things. I am not give What they said, give credit where credit is due.
Okay. All right, that's
And
good.
I'm going to stand on that until I
That's good.
die.
All
At
right.
the end of the day, Trump going to do some, not going to, he's doing some good stuff as well as he's doing some bull crap. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I am going to give
What is
them
the bull crap that is?
What do you feel is the bull
How
crap?
many times we going to go over this?
100 times.
Oh, God.
What do you feel is? I'm like, you know what my bull crap is with him, supporting Israel.
Well, we're not even talking. I'm talking about the number one. Look, is bulldog behavior, right? Which, as I said before, it's needed to a certain extent, right?
Okay.
I reiterate that so many times.
All right.
You you have to be tactful in some cases, right? And this is the problem. You look on his status right now. They have a status from Bush in office for 100 years. Trump, 2 terms, was 40 something. Out of Obama, Bush, Biden, and the father.
Big Bush.
Yeah.
GW.
So Big Bush,
I mean, HW.
senior, Junior Bush,
Yeah.
Obama, Biden. All of their status on the first 100 days was in the 50s and 60s. Trump first term and second term was 40s.
It was like 45%. Yeah, but those are approval ratings. I can't necessarily see the thing with approval ratings. What I don't like about approval ratings is that approval ratings are subjective.
But these are his peoples.
Huh?
These are his peoples
No.
that given.
But what do you mean? What do you mean as far as his peoples?
Meaning that people who supported him.
But that's what I mean. People that support, but are they true supporters? Like me, let's put it this way. Like I said, I'm contentious with certain things with him, but that doesn't mean I stop supporting him. That doesn't mean that I'm not down. I'm still happy with literally 80% of what he's doing. It's just that it's that 20% that I'm not happy with.
But a lot of people are falling back because there are people
Because they're impatient. That's why.
it's not. This
They are.
thing is
They
not
are.
going to. You keep on having this vision, and I think your vision is going to wind up in a blank wall. This thing is not going to. Trump is trying to redo 1,000 or 100 years worth
of
corruption
undoing.
it's not going to happen. It's just like, for instance, let me use this scenario. I know I'm going to die one of these days, right?
Yeah.
Does it mean because I'm going to die, I'm going to live my life anyhow? Unhealthy or whatever. Okay, I'm still.
Yeah, you're still gonna live
right?
righteously.
You still want to do
right, yeah.
everything. You know you're gonna die still.
Yeah.
But you're still doing your best. You're
Okay.
still pulling in your best where you can at least still live to see maybe 90, 100. But you know you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Same principle of it. We know that eventually he can't fix everything.
Nah.
He can't fix everything. So at the end of the day, my thing is that you know you can't fix everything. You have to sit down and look and analyze these things. You can't fix anything. Tackle little by little, tactfully, little by little, how you can, work at one at a time. Work on one, instead of just try to bulldog the entire environment.
Yeah.
Find a niche. Hit that hard. Boom, boom,
But
boom,
listen,
boom.
just
Work on that.
Just to explain that to you on not the last episode, but the episode before that, right? From Mike and Mike. That you have to do it like that. You cannot set up a meeting with 100 and what?
No, you don't need no
95
meetings.
country. Huh?
You don't need no meetings. You just find the avenue, like what he's doing right now. You find that avenue, you find that niche, and you like boom, 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 boom.
But that's what he's doing.
No, that's not what he's doing. He's doing right across the board simultaneously.
Yeah,
that is the issue.
Because remember, it's a big mess that he's cleaning up.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. He's
So
just
he's
like
gonna
he's
have to
starting
do
a
it.
business.
So how would you feel?
For him
right?
to do it section by section by section, that's going to take entirely too long.
But that's what I'm saying.
He only
You
has
have
4
to
years.
analyze and realize that you cannot do this in 4 years. So what you do, find the most
He's
important.
going to do it in less. He's going to do it in
How?
1 year. He's going
Because
to
of
do it
the way
in
that
less.
he's going, he's
Find the
using those-
important pieces that's gonna help society right off the back, and then that's what you boom, boom, boom. But what he's doing, he finding the weak spots, he finding the middle spots, he finding the heavy spots, and he boom, boom. It's not
Yeah.
gonna work.
Mike, it is working because he's producing
It's
results.
not.
Yes, he is.
Mike, so check this out, right?
People are just not happy.
Angel is sitting here, Justin is sitting here, you're sitting here, right? And I'm telling you guys, in order for you guys to go through the door, you have to pay me $5. What sense does it make for me to come to you separately and say, Mike, you have to pay me $5 to come through the door now? and then go to Justin and say, hey, Justin, you got to pay me.
Yeah, that's a waste of time and that's a waste
Waste
of
of
breath.
time, right?
It really is.
Make an announcement, right?
That's time consuming.
Like a service talk or a general announcement, and just tell all of you at the same time. If you disagree, right, the time that I'm gonna take with you one-on-one, going back and forth, disagreeing, then to go to Justin to go do the same thing, then to go to general statement. Then we
Okay,
sort it out.
so that
Justin is gonna be like, okay, that's fair. He's not charging me 10. Charging
And
you
I can,
5,
and I can sit,
charging Angel a dollar.
and I can sit there and say, no, that's not fair. I'm paying crap. So I can, you could go that way
no,
too.
it's $5 across the board.
It's $5 across the board.
Right, but I'm saying I could still. Justin may say, "Oh, that sounds fair." I could sit there and was like, "No, hell no, that's
Right.
not fair."
So you
but majority rules, so you'd be the only one saying that. Because
Yeah, but it
if
doesn't-
we agreed it's
yeah, you may still agree, but it still doesn't matter that I mean, it still matter in sense of where I can stand my ground so that I'm not paying that $5.
but you're not standing your ground, you're being counterproductive because if all of us are in agreement to pay the $5 fee and then you want to sit here, you're being counterproductive.
No.
You're holding up business.
How is it going to be holding up? Because you may see something different from what I see, right?
What do you?
So
It doesn't matter
I'm
what we
saying,
see. If
in
that's the fee,
general,
that's the fee.
You can have a vision of something, and I can't see that vision, right?
Okay.
I could have a vision of something, and you can't see that vision. It happens all the time in business. People come in there and they have, I mean, how I'm trying to find in a political structure where face that same similar scenario. Well, let me come there. When our church, right, they were buying this building, and the pastor had a vision where he's like, yo, we get involved, we buy, this is in Park Slope, and we get involved and buy this church and stuff like that. The whole congregation is like, that's a lot, you can't do, it's too much and stuff like that. And it's going to create a problem financially for the church and stuff like that. Eventually, he go on, and he just went for it. And I wouldn't say he just override the church, but he kind of pushed it, and some people started seeing it and stuff like that. So he saw his vision.
That's why you have someone
and he
at the
moved
head.
forward.
You have a leader,
Now,
right? To
at the end of the day,
some executive decision.
the entire congregation is like, was great. This was the awesome move. So they couldn't see the vision. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he saw the vision, and he said,
Right.
yo.
So you're saying Trump see the vision and China doesn't, right?
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
It's okay. You could say it. But remember, the original fee that was imposed on China was 10%, and our next door neighbors got hit with what, 25 each, right?
Yes.
Right. So China should have started and be like, okay, at least he hit us with 10%.
Hit you with 10.
And not 25. And be okay with that. But they want to do this back and forth and say, okay, we're going to raise our importation fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the funniest thing, all of this mess started where, Trump initiated this from when he was in the first term. You see, when Biden and
Because
Barack
China is
came
taking
in, they didn't do anything about it.
China
right?
is taking advantage of us and the rest
But
of the world.
so
Yeah.
that means you're telling me that you have these two. I wouldn't really say Biden, but you have Obama, them right, and you have Bush. You have Senior Bush. You have this thing was in place around that. You're telling me that these guys were that dumb they couldn't see this? Only Trump could see
No,
this?
it's not that. Most likely they were probably getting kickbacks. They're not stupid.
Right,
They were
right.
probably getting
So check
kickbacks.
So you
Right.
think Trump is not going to get kickback when he's
you
doing
think
some
Trump
of the crap?
doesn't need a kickback.
Do you think
He broke. What are you talking about? He doesn't need kickback.
Who said he's broke?
Okay.
Are you more intelligent than your parents? You think you're more intelligent than your parents?
At this point in time, yeah,
you
I think
should
so.
be, right? You
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah.
And your kid should be more intelligent than you are because they're able to access information faster or easier than you were able to, right?
At this present time, yeah.
Right. So you're talking about George Bush. I don't even remember who that is.
That's Big Bush. I know HW.
Senior,
Senior and
Senior
junior.
and junior, right? But that was then. We're dealing with the current
And then you have Barack.
administration.
And then you have Biden. So you told me all these guys are that ignorant?
No, they're not ignorant.
their-
They were
their-
on the
their
take.
agenda was
They were on the
different.
take. They were on the inside.
Yeah,
Don't you want? That's the whole thing with Trump. That's why people hate him because nobody can bribe him.
You think because Trump is making a move like this move, like he's not inside of the sidewinders too?
No, he's not. They can't stand him because they can't control him. That's why. That's why the
Common
people
sense.
love him.
Think about it.
What?
He's not. He doesn't play well with others.
They would dislike him.
He's a dictator. Teacher.
I don't
You
think
remember our
he's- I don't
3-hour
think- I don't think he's a
conversation
dic- I don't think he's a dictator at all. I don't think he's a dictator at all.
Exactly.
And I disagreed, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's
Well,
a
they
dictator.
disagree to a
Right.
certain extent, but again, teacher was preaching and he was hitting the nail on the head.
That teacher is very subjective when they speak, you know.
I mean, we have understanding a certain different level with some, but I mean,
Right.
on the principal level and in the context of what we are talking about, he was hitting the nail on the head. He's a
No, to you.
how is to me.
Eh? To you, he was hitting the nail on the head.
But
Remember,
the same thing as what we said many times on the show, Trump is pushing this dictated look. It's illegal.
So why Justin doesn't feel that way? And
I don't think
feel
he's
that
pushing
way?
a dictatorship at all. I don't think he's pushing.
Justin have
I
a
don't
different
feel-
agenda.
But I don't feel that way.
I don't feel that. I do have. No, I have.
You
You
know
know.
what Justin have a some
No,
different
you know what my
financial
agenda is? You know what my agenda is? I refuse to be played with. See, don't you understand? See, what a lot of people don't like Trump because he's off-putting. But one thing we could say about Trump, right? Everything that he said that he's going to do, he did it. And if he hasn't done it yet, most likely that's still
That
on his
guy's
list.
so transparent.
So whether or not,
What do you
exactly,
mean a
transparency.
If you talk about fairness, every time even his admin, you know how many people Trump fire because at the
Even
same
who lizard man, he said.
what?
He said, even lizard man.
Wait, but what you said, how many people?
Even when his peers,
Okay.
right? If Trump put an idea or suggest something, I want to do something, and you as his colleagues
All right.
are part of his administration say, you know what, Mr. President or Trump, I don't think you should go. What? You're fired. Get out of here.
No, that's
Yeah,
not
because
how it
they're
works.
not
That's how he works. That's how he works.
Listen.
That's how he
Because
works.
they're not on. Because
We
they're not
all
on
know-
board. He
What do you
already-
mean on the board?
Look.
The guy's being objective. Oh, he's not okay. You're
Mike.
gonna come with an idea.
I don't
right?
think Trump solely make decision on his own.
Yeah,
I
think he has a team. He has
He's
a
a
think
team,
tank. He
right.
definitely has a think tank.
It's like we're
You would
doing
think
business.
that.
No,
You
he
would
does.
think
He
that.
That's
does.
how it works.
He has a team.
Mike,
Yes.
He
come
has
on,
a think
man.
tank.
We're talking about the president of the United
Yeah,
States.
he
of
has-
Yes,
America.
a dictator of a wannabe
No,
dictator
he's
of
not
the
a-
United
I
States.
know.
Like China, man. Not
Stop.
even China, they don't do that.
Stop repeating CNN talking points.
Yeah, not even.
Stop.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
I don't feel he's a dictator at all.
We know that he has administration. We know that he has people who are guiding him and stuff like
There
that.
you go.
The thing is,
You know who's a dictator?
These
Kim
things-
Jong Un. That's a dictator.
yeah, and this is where Trump wants to be.
No, he
yo,
doesn't.
let-
No, he
listen,
doesn't.
my goodness.
You know what?
You see if you disagree with what's his name, King Jong Un. Your family is unalive, your entire family. That's how they do.
That's
it
the
over
level this dude
Think-
may
Mike,
want to
Mike,
go.
Nah,
Stop
he
it,
doesn't
stop
want
it,
to do
stop
that.
it.
He doesn't want to
Stop
do that.
it.
It
You gotta
doesn't mean that it will happen, but this is the level. If he
Stop
get the opportunity, he
That,
will
the,
go that.
the Clintons would have been wiped
Let me
out.
tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
You have a point.
You got to remember. You got to remember. America and business has been very good to Donald Trump. Okay, he's made a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Yeah.
Aside from what they say, oh, he's broke. That man is not broke. That man is far from.
No, he's not broke
know what I'm
now.
saying?
He was broke going into office.
He was never broke. I don't know
Right.
where people get this.
What
Because
makes
why
someone
is he
wealthy?
broke? Because he
What-
never showed you how
what
much.
makes
Let's
someone
put it this
wealthy?
way. I could be worth $3 billion. I'm not telling nobody nothing.
What-
I'm not paying my taxes. I'm claiming bankruptcy on everything. This way, I ain't got to pay nobody. The guy's brilliant. Don't you understand?
No, that's like that's the what they call it. They
What?
have a term they call something about side swipe criminal or something.
What, he's a swindler?
I think
He's not a
teacher
swindler.
didn't call the name to it. I think you were on the whole.
Teacher, big up yourself.
They have it's criminal.
It's
No,
called a
no,
swindler.
Mike.
Yeah, but that's
But
business. I'm like,
think about what
these
you're
are
saying.
high level businessmen.
You're saying Elon is broke, right? I mean, a lot of people
Elon?
would say the
No,
same
I'm
thing
talking about Trump.
Trump's not broke.
Trump, right?
He's never been broke. I don't know where people get this from.
You know
not
what
broke
type of
now.
you know what type of business the Trump family is in? Like what type of business?
Most of their structure
Real
is
estate,
real
right?
estate.
Real
right.
estate, property
Are you gonna
management.
say he's broke?
Of course, he was. You know, many times he
You know,
filed bankruptcy.
you know, if you have-
just to avoid.
Do you know?
Just to
But do you know
avoid
why he
the
filed
legal-
bankruptcy?
avoid the legal
No.
penalties.
Do you know
and
why he
also
found-
That
not to
doesn't mean
pay
you're
back?
broke.
But he kept all his money.
that
That don't mean
doesn't-
he's broke. It actually means the opposite.
that mean you don't have
he
to pay
kept
the
all
debt.
his bread. That's the name of the game, bro. You got to keep all your money.
Yeah, you're gonna keep all your money, but he had to wind up spending so much because at the end of the day, when especially when Letitia James was attacking his behind, there was supposed to be 300 and something million. He's
Yeah,
supposed to
and
turn
where's she
over.
at right now?
She's still
under.
there.
She's no, she's not. She's under investigation for
Of
some
what?
for some housing fraud
Fraud,
issues in
mortgage
Virginia.
fraud.
Yeah,
In Virginia. Well,
yeah, in Virginia, the same thing
I-
that she accused him of. That's exactly what she was doing.
you know, these
Imagine
corrupt-
that, eh?
Yeah, projecting.
You know the funniest thing? This can be orchestrated by others because at the end of the day, it could be a
It's
setup.
like-
No,
She was forced by the DNC to go after Donald Trump. That's what happened, right? So
she
we
was
got,
forced.
of course.
The NC
Remember
don't
that
have
they
no
control
control.
his
They
position.
don't have
you
no
know.
control over her.
What?
What? Come on.
Yo,
Mike, oh,
You
you,
act
think they had him
you
begin,
act like you act
man.
like there isn't you act like there isn't a what's the word? You act like there isn't a consortium of very powerful men
People,
in this
right.
country
they are. They
that
are.
push a certain narrative. George
Push a
Soros is
certain
at
buttons.
George Soros
you
is
ever
at
heard
the
that
very
name
top
before?
of that.
What?
George
George
Soros.
No.
He's at the very top of that.
BLM. You know who funded BLM?
George Soros. You know who funded Antifa? George
George
Soros.
Soros.
Look up George. See, nobody say. See, this is what I'm saying. This is why I get in trouble. This is why I got banned from Instagram. This is why they kept disabling my Instagram every 6
Powerful
months.
guy. I know his son is taking over.
But see, that's what I mean. But it's guys like that probably put the screws to Letitia James. Look what happened to Letitia. Look, Letitia James went after him. What happened to her? Fannie Willis went after
What's his
him.
name,
We saw
George?
the nonsense Fannie Willis went through. Huh?
George what?
Soros. Soros.
S-O.
Devil in the flesh.
No, these guys are some powerful guys.
These are
they
very
decide who become president, and
These
and,
are super villains, bro. These
Oh,
are
I've
real
seen
life
this guy
super
before.
villains. Yeah.
I've seen this guy before.
These are real life super villains, bro. These are like, like when we talk about the Rothschilds,
You
the
just
royal,
look corrupt too.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Looking at
George
it.
Soros, look, the Rothschild family, the Orsini's, the royal family in England.
Listen, I'm not
These are
even
very
gonna go
evil
that
people.
deep.
These are,
I'm not even gonna go that deep. I'm not gonna act like I'm not afraid of these people.
yeah, I'm afraid of them, but I don't care. I have nothing to lose. I'm broke. Nobody listens to me anyway. I'm crazy.
They're not
I'm
gonna
Kanye. Nobody listens to me.
They're not come for your money. They're not coming for your money.
Well,
You don't have no money. So they're
perfect
not-
example. Perfect example. Puffy, right? Puffy pissed off the wrong person.
There you go.
And this is because Puffy's been doing dirt forever.
For a long time.
He pissed off the wrong people, and now look what happened to him.
I'm hearing this thing going around where
What about
Puffy didn't
Bill
go to
Cosby?
jail because are they attacking because is this sexual allegation and stuff like that? It's because he messed with this liquor company and
Talking about Diageo.
some other of it.
Well, that's when the nonsense. No, it's not that. Diageo are the people that own Ciroc. Okay, Diageo. Remember, he had a
deal with them.
He had a deal with Ciroc. He was their ambassador. It's not his liquor.
Correct.
It belongs to Diageo.
A lot of people
They fired
don't know
him.
that though.
They fired him.
Because
they-
of some stuff he was
They
he
fired
was-
him because he
not-
was getting. Yeah, what it is, he was becoming too troublesome. See, one thing, and I hate to say it, but one thing, unfortunately, even in this day and age, when you are a black man with a lot of money and still a lot of power and a lot of influence, unfortunately, they're still gonna have something on you. There's still somebody he has to answer to. So what happened was when he got fired, because remember he was their ambassador, wasn't he? He was the ambassador for Ciroc. He had a whole distribution deal with them. You saw we didn't know what Ciroc was. Puffy blew it up. How long
Right,
Ciroc
right,
been
right.
around now,
Okay,
right?
that's true. That is
he
true.
blew it up. So he made him all this money. I guess he was getting a little too cocky because he reached $1 billion. So then what happens? I guess he wanted more money. He wanted more equity
In the company.
Right. The company told him no and fired him. So what did he do? Now he files a lawsuit against him. Diageo, the Diageo group, these are the people that own Ciroc, and they own a whole bunch of spirits companies. They own a bunch of different liquors. This is major money. This is big money. This is when you're in the realm, like in the same families that, have the rights that own the color blue. You understand? This is upper echelon people that we would never see in our life, that we might see on TV or in a movie or something like that. These are the kind of people that he pissed off. And then when that happened, this is when all the nonsense happened. Now, don't get me wrong. Puffy's been doing dirt for 30 years. Everybody knows he's a dirtbag, but he was getting away with it until he bit the hand that fed him.
Maybe they kind of push, but I think it still has a lot to do with.
And remember, he tried creating his own political party. You don't remember that?
Sex life.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still.
Mike, he's been doing this for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yes, but okay.
Let me tell you what I dislike about Puffy, right? I dislike the idea that he issues to artists like some ridiculous contract, like a 10 album, right?
Yeah, like basically a slave contract,
Right.
slave deal.
You know, how hard it is to get like a hit song, like one hit song, much less to get 15 contract. Your music career is over and I own you. 'Cause if you sign off on 15 contract, you're over.
The man was a modern day slave owner.
Right. So that's what he did to a lot of artists.
A lot
right?
to his own people.
Artists.
To his own people.
If they wanted to go somewhere else, they would have to pay Puffy like a large sum.
That's the whole thing with
Right?
Mace. That's why
you're
Mace
my
had
artist and I sign you and you want to go to Justin
Justin.
Records.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. I need 10 million Justin.
Yeah, and Mace
for me
went
to
through all
release
that.
my artist.
Yeah.
Thing.
Mace went through all
And
that.
I'm
a lot
not going to spend that on someone who's not like a Drake or Kendrick or Rihanna or someone like that. So I'm just going to say, you know what? Never mind. Forget it. And then you're stuck. So that's what I dislike about him, right? So he was doing all these stuff, right? And all these parties. Everyone was aware of this. No one was filing no charges against him. The what's her name? The girl who got the money. How much she got? 50 million?
Oh, what's the name? You talking about his ex-girlfriend?
Cassie, right?
Yeah.
How long ago that happened?
Huh?
That's not a long time ago that happened. That's happened about 4 years ago.
No, but what I'm saying is
more
that
than-
Cassie was with
Nah,
him for
man,
like...
it's about
How
4
long
years
Cassie was
ago.
with him? Cassie was with him for like 11 years. She was
Is she with him for around 11 years?
She was with him for 11 years,
But
but
she
what is-
started exposing him.
But she
after
was-
about maybe 4 or 5,
Yeah,
5,
exactly.
6 years ago.
Do you know why? Right? Because she was privy to all that. She
Right.
was involved in all of that. She wasn't no victim. She was a willing participant in the nefarious acts that they were engaging.
Allegedly.
Is the physical,
Allegedly.
Is the physical, according to her, it reached the point where it was getting, people who go through physical abuse, females who go through physical abuse, some of them take it for a long period of time, and then it reached to the point where...
The point is, that's not the reason why Puffy is locked down.
It's part of
It's
it.
what Justin
It's
said.
part
locked
of
down.
Even though what Justin said before pertaining to these big boys,
He locked
yes,
down.
he go and go kick the wrong door.
Yeah, he pissed off some very
right.
powerful
But at
people.
the same time, now remember, these guys want certain things to stick. So you go and kick the wrong door.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are coming after you from their side. Then they see that you have dirt over the other side. They're gonna bring it involved. It's like a thief, right? You have some thief that go Bonnie and Clyde, as an example.
Mm-hmm.
How long these guys were doing these things for? Decades.
Yeah, they were running
Can't
around
catch
for a
their
minute.
ass.
Yeah.
Right? Until one day, the law got smart. And they finally get caught. So, again, coming back in context, with Puffy's situation, it was going to come up. Whether it was with the liquor company, he kicked the
but
wrong
that's
door.
been out though.
Yeah, it's been out, but again, the government can't just jump and say, even though they have certain evidence and stuff like that, they can't just jump and say, all right, we got him. They take time.
They have to investigate.
Investigation,
Yes,
they have to
but
build up
that's not,
things.
No, all right. So you never heard that he was a part of, what's his name, Biggie?
Yeah, he was a
Biggie
part of
and
Biggie's
some-
death. He was a part of Biggie's death. He was he was mentioned in that. He was mentioned in Tupac's
You
death.
never heard that before?
He's done a
but
lot
that's
of
not
dirt.
recent though.
Yeah, that's
been
from
hearing
20,
that, right?
25 years ago.
Right, but no.
Look, the whole thing was Shine. Shine took that charge from him in the club, and then Shine had to get sent back to had to get sent back to
Look at
police.
even that guy too, where he admitted, he said Puffy was part of the one that gave authorization for Tupac murder. Remember that guy?
You talking about Gene Deal?
I think so. Right?
Yeah, that was his security. Yeah, because Puffy. Yeah, you're right. But see, that's what I mean. Like that was.
But all of that stuff, I mean, when this guy, and he's been saying this on the news for a bit,
and you notice they didn't do anything.
They didn't do anything yet.
Yeah, and you know why? They didn't do anything, right? Nothing happened to Puffy. What? Until he pissed off those very powerful people.
People, right.
I agree.
You
I
understand?
agree that
You know what I like about Elon? Elon is a good deal maker, you know. So when Elon is working for what's the company? Tesla, right?
Yes.
And the agreement is I do not get paid if the company does not perform. So he would say, okay, the stock is trading at 200. If the stock is not trading at 500 in the next 2 years, I do not get paid. But if it's trading at 500 or above, I get
A certain amount.
$50 billion dollars, right?
Right.
That's the agreement, you know. But the numbers would be
That's a very
like
fair agreement.
far-fetched. It would be like, okay, Tesla stock is at $50, and if I get Tesla stock to trade at $500, from $50 to $500, I get $50 billion, and everyone would be like, guys, we are the board members, right? We are the owners of the company, right?
Yeah.
And we said, okay, he's gonna be working for free.
This guy's crazy. But
Yeah,
then he makes
he's
it
gonna
happen.
be working for free, and he makes it happen.
And then they get back because they got to pay him out.
Right. So, and he used that to his advantage to become the majority shareholder in Tesla. So it's like a hostile takeover.
Yeah.
But if the stock didn't go from 50 to like 500, you wouldn't get any pay.
He wouldn't got nothing.
So you would be working for like years and years for free.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the agreement.
But then what's crazy, if that would have been the case, I don't think Tesla would have been as popular as it is right now.
No. So he kind of like manipulate the market also. So don't get me wrong.
Of
You
course
come out and say certain things.
I mean,
for
the big
stock to go.
dogs. The big dogs
Right.
do. That's what they do.
Right.
That's why they're the big dogs, because
So-
they could do. Trust me. Let's put it this way: if I had the ability to manipulate the market, I'd be one market manipulating. Right?
So what you call it now? So someone like a Puff, you know, right? You're doing a business deal with the liquor company, right? And you feel like, okay, this liquor is selling because of me. It's
And it
because
was.
of my
And it
promotion.
was.
Right, because nobody knew about
Yeah.
Ciroc and stuff like.
Nobody knew that Diageo was the parent owner. They just knew Ciroc. Oh, that's Puffy's
We
liquor.
thought Puffy owned freaking Ciroc.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time I thought he was the one that
Remember,
owned
Ciroc
Cross.
and De Leon. Remember the tequila, the black-owned tequila, De Leon? That's his too. Well, it's not his. It's owned by Diageo. But once again, it was a, what do you call it? It was a
Or promotion.
like a licensing deal. He had a
Right, right,
licensing deal, basically. He had a licensing deal. So basically, he's licensed to be the ambassador and to be the main distributor of Ciroc. I think, matter of fact, at first it was in the United States, but then the way it blew up, because Ciroc really blew up, man.
Ciroc,
And then
yeah,
it became a
it's-
global thing.
Yeah, Puffy have a lot to do with
Yeah,
that.
Puff had a
though.
lot to do with that.
I got that, you know, but what you want to do, you know, you want to sign some contract like Elon, right? Okay, I don't get compensated if you guys don't make
Perform.
a certain amount of sale, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
And that's fair, because that's people more. That's when you do. That's a really good selling point, like from a sales point, because
They're gonna work.
you're
themselves.
giving them an offer that they can't refuse.
huge, right?
You know what I mean? Like if you look at it from a sales, obviously I'm in sales, so when you're gonna look, you're giving them an offer. You can't like who's gonna turn down that deal?
They're gonna work hard.
Yeah.
They because they want that
Puffy
money.
did work hard
Puffy worked hard, man.
to put that in every music video. with
Yeah,
every
man.
Top artists and
All the
those
different
collabs.
flavors.
His marketing
Strategy
was
They made up
yeah.
Coco Loso because of Ciroc. You know what Coco Loso is, right?
No, what was that?
Coco Loso is
Like a
Ciroc
knockoff
coconut, the Ciroc coconut flavor with pineapple juice. And that was a drink that they branded that you can only make it with Ciroc, Coco Loso.
Oh, you only could make it with Ciroc.
Yeah, like it's a drink there. That's a real way of making Coco Loso. You got to use Ciroc Ciroc coconut, because remember they had
Yeah,
they had
different
You
flavors.
get
Yeah,
it, so you can't make that drink without.
Without Ciroc.
Like you can make a Coco Loso with a different vodka, but it's not Coco Loso. It's some fake shit. I mean, fake-ish. I'm trying not to curse. It's some fake. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like he came up with a whole bunch of brilliant ideas. Like he was really in imaging. So I'm not sure whether he got too big for his. I have a feeling that he got too big for his britches,
I think he got too cocky.
and he
because-
forgot. And he forgot. Like I said, unfortunately, this is the world that we live in. Okay, when you are a man of color with power and influence and money,
You got to be careful.
you
of your
have to
trip.
be even more careful. You know why? Because white fragility is a very, very real thing.
Nah, you can't just you don't feel like you're entitled for stuff. You got to sign contract.
Yeah.
It's like, you see Jay-Z. Jay-Z's a good businessman.
He's a very good businessman.
Right? When
He stays
they
out
did
the
that
way,
deal
you know?
with the Barclays Center, he got 1% of it, right? So he was promoting it because he's from where? Brooklyn?
Yeah, he's from
Right.
Brooklyn.
And they gave him 1%. And he turned around and sell back the 1%.
And sell the 1%, but I think he must have like quadrupled it or.
No,
Right.
I think
Yeah.
he quadruple or double
And the same
it
thing
when
with,
he sell it
remember
back.
when they made him, what do you call? They made him the NFL. When the NFL made him like the
Yeah, he's
head of entertainment.
halftime show. He's in charge of that.
He's in charge of halftime show for the Super Bowl for the NFL.
How long now?
It's
Long
been
time,
it's been a
like,
while. How
probably
long has it
like
been now? It's probably good to have
7
been
years.
7, 8
So
years.
he called the shots, basically who we want to perform, who we
Yeah.
want
So
to
like
perform.
Kendrick performing, that was Jay-Z's
But
doing.
check this out. This is what he said. He said, we've been seeing a lot of black performers or black artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't necessarily choose black people to perform, right? Or people of color.
But he has a team where he work with, right?
No, but he would hit up someone like, let's say,
Justin Bieber.
no, not Justin Bieber. Someone else.
Mary J. Blige.
Someone white, right?
Someone
And they
also
would
Taylor
turn it
Swift.
down.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and they would turn it down. And then they would hit up someone else again who's hot.
And then turn it down.
So
Yeah.
they have no choice but to go to like,
Another black entity.
yeah,
Exactly.
right?
Like Kendrick. Kendrick, that was.
But he's probably gonna pick people who's on top. You know what I mean? Like
of course, because he's
Taylor what?
Jay-Z.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
She
yeah.
is the queen. She make everybody, even Beyonce, look like a joke when it comes to marketing and funds.
Yeah.
Making funds.
Yeah. And what's crazy,
Why is that?
I'm not really a Taylor
What?
Swift fan like that.
You're not a teenage girl, that's why.
I'm not. I guess I'm not. You know, I'm not a Beyonce fan neither. But I'll listen to Beyonce
What
before I
about
listen to
Sexy
Taylor.
Red? What
Huh?
about Sexy Red?
Who?
Sexy. Yo, I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't care. Sexy Red looks like a man. All right. She look.
No, that wasn't her. That wasn't her. I know what you're talking about. That wasn't her.
No, I know that. I saw that picture too. I knew that was
She
AI.
she has a nice what you would call it
Sexy Red looks like she's the Young Thug's
no,
twin.
she's just a hoodlum, but she has a nice. She has a nice.
Now, who I do like, even though she's rack
You're
shit.
my everything.
Now, who I do like, even though she's rack shit and she got sort of a, you know, she has a weird accent.
She has a
is what's her name?
good
Glorilla.
body design.
Glorilla.
Ooh, sexy.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not into Sexy Red. She's a little
No,
too.
I'm not saying because she's ratchet.
Yeah.
What you call it, hood style, whatever the case may. But I mean, like what I'm
No,
saying.
I like rack shit. I'm just saying she look like she don't clean herself properly.
Well, in that context, yeah. But I mean, from a looks perspective, she looks better than most of these even high level females out there.
Ooh, sexy red.
Yeah, from a shape perspective.
Oh,
From
she's shapely,
Not
yeah.
just from a facial. The facial, she's
Yeah.
she's
No, she's shapely.
I wouldn't even,
She's
I would
shapely.
say I
Moving
wouldn't even use
forward.
average.
Moving forward.
I wouldn't even use average.
She's
But-
shapely, but she's too. I don't know. She's
Right.
Too,
That's
she's
that's
just too.
that's where I'm coming from.
You know what she remind me of? She remind me of like when you go to a fete on Memorial Day weekend or whatever, and she's like that real crazy girl with the multicolored wigs on and shit, just whining on everybody. That's I keep and that's what she remind me of.
there
That's
was-
what she remind.
There was this thing, girl there, in the studio with Cartel, right? So she has a shape, right? She has a good shape, but she don't have no butt. So she there now, and Cartel was like being real with her. I think he called her, mommy something or whatever the case may be. So he's like, mommy, you got you got a shape, but you don't have no bumper. She's
Who
like,
said
what?
that?
Cartel. So it was an interview they had, and it was everyone was green
No
with
bumper.
him, green with the Cartel. But this woman, she's just Jamaican too, but she's like, she was in denial. And when I saw her after she turned around, we said,
Yeah.
she has hips, which they call hip dips. You know, when that hip comes out.
But
like
she got
that.
no bumper.
But when she line up, she flat as a and she couldn't accept
Big
it. And
fry
Cartel-
or
yeah.
a fry beak.
Yeah, and
That's a
Cartel's like, listen,
that's nasty.
you don't get me wrong. You have a nice shape, but you don't have no bumper,
She
mommy.
got no bumper.
And
Can't
she's
nobody.
Like, she's like, what you talking about? Look at
That's
this.
not a
Look
bumper.
at
Can't
this.
nobody pull up to that bumper.
He said that's not a bumper.
You gotta-
Exactly what it is. He said
You
that's
gotta,
not a
you gotta
bumper.
look at Spice for a bumper. Eh?
No, that's
Spice have
manufactured
bumper for
bumper
the
right
word
there.
Jamaica. Huh?
That's manufactured bumper. There.
What?
Spice?
Ice Spice? No, it's not.
Not
What?
Ice Spice.
No, that's
not
that's
Ice
us.
Spice. Queen Spice.
Oh,
That's-
Queen Spice. Oh,
That's
okay.
manufactured bumper.
Oh, Queen Spice is manufactured
Yeah.
bumper, not Ice Spice. I'm about to say Ice Spice. Ice Spice is half Nigerian. That's all natural.
No, we're not talking about that ice.
Oh.
Spice.
Yeah. So you got to sign good contract, you know. As a businessman, like even Kanye, I think Kanye don't like contracts, you know. Kanye say, yo, if he can't go over a contract on one page, he's not signing it.
Prime Minister,
Prime Minister in the house.
pull up.
It's
all right.
good. It's all family here, man.
You might be late, but you're right on time.
You're right on time.
Prime Minister Khalees has entered the building.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
boys
Prime
and
Minister.
girls,
Boys and
The
girls.
moment y'all been
The
waiting
moment.
for.
The moment, the royal
Mr.
magistrate.
Angel Khalees.
Man, what a prophet.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
It's on.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
In his DMX shirt, you know.
Oh, he has it. That shirt got sleeves?
You can see he's running the country all right. You see? That's how the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister, Royal Magistrate
And
Khalees.
Angel ain't if I did it fine, you know. The P did it fine because he got shine sent back to
He went back to Belize.
Yeah.
the belly.
No, we were talking about Diddy, like, you know, like a lot of stuff. Like, we were just talking about, like, okay, Diddy's been doing dirt forever. And then all of a sudden, all his troubles came when he challenged the
liquor
wrong
company,
people,
yeah.
which is Diageo.
Even
This is the company.
50 Cent said it, you know.
Huh?
50 Cent
Yeah,
said
50
it.
said it. See, you notice 50's still around. 50's still making his money. You know why? Because 50 knows who to piss off and 50 knows who not to piss off.
50
That's
know
why
how to
50 will
apply
always get his
wisdom.
money. Huh?
In the market, 50 know how to
50
apply
as
wisdom.
he is, he can't piss off a lot of people, right?
Huh? Yeah, he knows, but he knows. He knows who to mess with and he knows who not to mess with.
Right.
And unfortunately, like we were talking about, these people, Diageo, this is a different level. This is a
That's
different.
liquor.
Yeah, they're the ones that own Ciroc. Everybody thought that Puffy owned Ciroc. No, Puffy had a distribution deal with them. He had what do you call it? He had like a
Contract.
like a contract with them.
Yeah. Promote.
A licensing
promoter,
deal. That's what it is. Licensing deal.
The ambassador.
He was a licensing deal. Initially, it was for the United States, but we were just talking about we didn't know what
And it's-
Ciroc was until he brought it out.
Sometimes you have to
He
give
was
it
the
up.
face of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to give it up. Look at Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z does, I do a lot of free concert for like the fire department of New York.
Yeah.
He does a lot of free concerts
Yeah.
for them.
Oh, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And that's smart. That gets him a lot of good. He stays in good graces
But
with
that's
city
marketing, yeah,
officials.
marketing strategy.
Levels, certain people in the city government. He's smart for doing that. He's from
Yeah,
here.
that's good business.
That's one hand washes the other, quid pro quo. That's always, Jay-Z's a very, like we were talking about, Jay-Z doesn't get into anything.
No social media.
Nothing. You don't.
Page.
But I mean, at the end of the day, too, what
Nah.
the possibility
and
now,
he's an entertainer.
the possibility now with Puff, there's a lot of these powerful guys gonna get hit later on, because he's not gonna just go by himself down like that. I mean, especially when
That's not how it works. We don't want to hear anything about anyone.
You're
No,
not
he know-
talking
he
about
know- he
anyone.
know-
I mean, what you talking about?
He knows too much.
He knows a lot. That's what I'm
Well,
saying. A lot of
well, you know what
people
happens
want
then,
to
right?
Get hit.
He's gonna end up getting Epstein.
Mike.
Nobody's gonna get hit. He will get Epsteined.
Mike,
Okay.
you're my friend, right? Doesn't matter what you do. Angel can't tell me anything about you.
Right. But not
Get it?
Not
So it would be like a Jay-Z. Jay-Z did so many charity work for, the state of New York.
Yeah.
And for some high-level people, right? When someone goes to them and like, yo, Jay-Z's, they go back to Jay-Z and say, hey, that guy over there, he's going around spreading
Yeah.
rumors
Don't
about
trust him.
But remember, this is not just a common guy over there going to say something. Remember, this is the government is coming after you because he's going to tie it into.
But remember, the
So,
government
regardless
is
of
corrupt
what-
too, you know.
Yeah, the
that is
government's
true.
bought paid for. They're
But
not.
again,
they're not the end all be all.
If they want you to be a part of this downfall, regardless of me saying that you could whatever, I want to hear crap or whatever the case may be.
which
Yeah,
show
that
I
may
need to
happen
watch?
on the public side, but once the government in a legal status or legal pursuit. No matter what you may believe or what John may believe, at the end of the day, they coming at you.
No,
And
that's not-
your valued opinion or your valued status of or maybe what's his name?
George Soros.
George Soros. Maybe the only person can say, "Yo, stop this."
No,
I mean,
a lot
according
of
to
people
what you
are
guys
powerful
are saying,
as George Soros in the U.S.
where
A
you
lot
can
of-
get the I mean, I'm talking about stepping with the
Rockefeller
government.
is powerful. A lot of people are powerful.
George Soros you talking about?
George Soros.
The George Soros.
The George Soros, the devil in the flesh.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Evil in human form.
Okay.
Look, he looks evil. That doesn't even look
He
his real
looks
face.
corrupt.
That looks like a
That's it.
that looks like a humanoid. That looks like a humanoid mask that was made out of
Guy
pig
looks
skin.
old,
You know,
man.
did it just plead not guilty, right?
Who?
He just pled not
Yeah, and most likely he's
Why
gonna
you think he's
skate.
gonna play guilty?
Nah, he's gonna skate. Most likely he's gonna get away with it because look, let's put it this way: he either had to give up something, or he
Give up
probably
people. Yeah, that's
No,
why
I'm
he's
talking
gonna
about money. He gave up money and people.
Give up people like what? Saying they did what?
all the internal
They-
stuff
I
messing
mean,
around
they
with
were
all.
going after Jay-Z at one point, but they squashed out a little bit.
Why?
I'm not talking about
Yeah,
with the
'cause
chick.
why?
Because
Allegedly-
he was allegedly a part of the trafficking, the female trafficking.
Jay-Z has very powerful
They
friends.
even had Beyonce involved and saying,
Yeah.
"Man, you see that girl? What?
Yeah.
No, according to the news, folks. According to the news, that
Yeah.
was.
I don't listen to anything the news
publicized
says.
on it. It was kind of it's like /news/hearsay. So the thing is that they claim that Beyonce had Jay-Z ex-girlfriend who he was cheating on her with.
Yeah, had her killed.
Had her killed.
Yeah.
Right. So all these little bzz, bzz, bzz around the place.
The conspiracies.
Yeah, some of them, I don't know what, but some of them is gonna start coming to light when Puffy started spitting.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Well,
Nah.
again,
I'm like, even if they are, they're gonna fall upon deaf ears.
But
Jay-Z
gonna
has
have to take it like a man.
Jay has Jay-Z has very powerful friends. He's made a lot of powerful friends in what, the 30, 35 years that Jay-Z's been around.
Yeah.
He's made a lot
I'm
of
pretty
powerful
Powerful
certain. I'm
friends.
pretty certain they got powerful people in powerful places. But when they start dangling them sweet deals over your head,
Yeah.
and you look at the additional 10 years or say something, it could get really, really tricky.
Yeah, it can. But what it is
He's
for the
gonna
time
get- he's
being.
gonna
Hopefully, stay solid.
See, no, for somebody like Jay-Z, if you know Jay-Z's smart, you know why? He doesn't piss anybody off. See, like we were talking about Puff. Puff messed up because he pissed somebody off.
He doesn't piss
He
the
doesn't
right,
piss the right people off.
Right.
You understand? Same as 50. 50 knows who to play with and 50 knows who not to play with.
Right.
That's
Get
why
it?
that's why 50
Yeah.
continues to be successful.
Yeah, I thought that was a big miscalculation on Diddy's part to go after them liquor people.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
That wasn't smart.
What are we saying?
Bullet. Wagwan.
all right, yeah, you can put it thing.
But I think sometimes,
Bullies in the house.
Bullies in the house.
Bullies in the house.
yeah, sometimes I think people can get big for themselves, for their own selves. You understand
Yeah.
me?
No, and that's what happened with Puff. But going back to why we got into that, that's why they hate Trump. Because you see these very powerful people that you can't piss off. Trump is in that realm of powerful people, so he doesn't have to kiss their ass.
Okay.
And
Get
that's
it.
why they don't like him.
Reiterate it again. Reiterate it again.
Okay. You see how we were just talking about how Puff pissed off a very powerful person.
Right.
Okay. Trump is in that realm of powerful people. Now, is he as powerful as they are? No. But he's powerful enough that they can't play with him. You understand what I'm saying? He does what he wants. He doesn't listen. Now, don't get me wrong. There's people that he answers to that I'm not, like I've said before, I'm not happy with. Okay? His crew, like his think tank that he has, remember, his son-in-law is very much involved in that, Jared Kushner. I don't agree with Jared Kushner. I don't like his business practices.
Jewish, right?
He's an Israeli sympathist. That's the same also thing with the whole AIPAC. But Trump, as that's the only people that really have something on him, because obviously they married into his family. But those other powers that be, these very powerful people that we don't ever see. Like, let's put it this way. George Soros, since we see his face, that shows me that he's at the low end of the totem pole. There are powerful people higher than him that we will never see and we will never hear because they spend billions and billions of dollars a year to make sure their name is not mentioned anywhere.
Yeah, just like the
Trump pisses those people off because they cannot control him. And that's why This is why you have the media constantly demonizing him. This is why before he was running for president, they want to come up with these nonsense charges. This is why you had the Georgia district attorney trying to lock him up. You had the New York district attorney trying to lock him up, and then you had a whole bunch of judges that were trying to violate his rights. And reason why is because they are answering to these very powerful people. Make this man's life difficult. He can't get back in office.
You know,
And he got back in office, so it messed up a lot of their plans.
I subscribe to everything you said up until when you reached to the point where
what
that they're trying to get the other departments to lock him up, to push pressure on him and stuff like that.
That's what they were doing. That was election interference. That was blatant. You don't remember what Fannie Willis was doing? And then she got caught up in all that. That's what I'm saying. Look, Fannie Willis first accused him. That was in Georgia. Remember when he had to go to Georgia and they were trying to charge him with all. Look, and mind you, like I said, everybody keeps talking about these 34 felonies. Those felonies are going to get dropped.
They're not.
They're going to get dropped.
That is not
they are going to get, and I'm going to laugh. Everybody that talk, and they're going to get dropped. Or they just not, or you know what? They might get pushed down to like a class. What is it? What's the lowest case felony? It's like a class J felony, which we might like one step above a misdemeanor. So who cares?
It is not going to. You see, I keep on asking it. Do you see what the judge did with the conviction with and Trump? He put it in a way which I kind of didn't support that, because I want him to go hard, just like how you and I, if you and I were in the situation, would be thrown in some dens of lions and stuff like that.
But you got to remember, we're not. Yeah, but you also got to remember, we're not Donald Trump, bro.
But at the same time, nobody's above the law. That's the problem. And then,
but see, that's where you got it misconstrued.
How?
Because don't you understand the law? Let me tell you something. This is one thing I've learned, and I've learned this a long time ago. The law does not apply to people with money. Okay, that is an ugly truth.
Hardly ever.
Okay, that is not an
Hillary
ugly
Clinton
truth.
would have been underneath.
You understand?
Jail.
The law does not apply. The law does not. Look, let's put it this way.
This, man.
The more money you have, the more people you're able to pay off.
Do you know why we
Put it this way.
We get fined. Like, say if we get a fine. Like, say for instance, how much does it cost? What's the fine now to park in front of a fire hydrant?
$115.
Nah, more than that.
How much is it now?
What?
More than that.
No, man. In a fire hydrant?
Right now.
Yeah, $115.
Okay, 100. No, you sure? I thought it was like 165.
$115.
Yeah,
I thought it was. Wait, so how much is it for a regular parking ticket?
That's
$65.
It's still 65.
That's entirely
It depends also,
circumstantial.
because
Okay,
you can
but
get
still,
a
look, perfect
$30
example.
ticket.
But that's
You
entirely.
pay. You
Like
you
expire
park,
meter is
you
$30.
park in front of a hydrant. That's $115, bro. That dents
I mean,
our pockets.
that's circumstantial. Though. I don't want to digress, but there was some car parked in front of a fire hydrant that had like an active fire.
2 times in Brooklyn. It happened.
Some there, like, and I guess
Yeah.
they couldn't get to the pump. The fire guy.
Right.
And they broke his window and everything, and probably put the pump through the window. Or
No,
whatever.
they didn't.
No, but what I'm
But
saying
they're
is
just
that
enforcing it now.
Yeah,
They
no,
made
but what I'm saying, I'm
enforcing
saying
law.
that to say
what they did, they hit that whoever owned that vehicle got
yeah,
defined.
exactly. But see, what I'm saying that to say this: $115 fine is going to affect us a lot more deeply than it's going to affect somebody like Donald Trump. So what I'm saying is that the law only applies to the poor. Okay? So this whole thing that nobody is above the law, that is a beautiful lie. The ugly truth is that the law only applies to the poor.
Technically, the law...
It's supposed to apply to everybody.
No one above the law, technically. Now,
But that's not true.
I am not dismissing the fact that some people out there that has power, which is funds.
Yeah, power,
that
influence.
The law coming at them like this, and then it just digress and shift around and go around and move on.
Yeah.
Yes, that is factually there, but technically, no one is above the law. Now, there are powerful people who have money, and the law still run into them and convict them and do what he needs to do. Now,
Because they made somebody mad.
they kicked the wrong door, as what you said.
Or either that, or they were just sloppy. They did not cover all their bases.
So again, you have people with power, who have money and have power, but again, certain things they will do. Sometimes the law will shift around them, and sometimes the law will just grab them whole and says, "Listen, you going down." Whether you have money or not, even whether you have it, you have money, and these things happen. It's all the time.
No.
It happens.
Look, if they were going down and they got money, if they were going down and they got money, that means they were supposed to.
What does that mean, supposed to?
That means they were supposed to. Basically, going back to what I said, you pissed off the wrong person. If you
You
got
look at Epstein. I mean, these guys have money. You look at
Epstein, but Epstein was a CIA asset.
Informant?
He was a CIA asset. He was an agent for Mossad. Basically, his Mossad is basically the Israeli version of the Central Intelligence Agency. He was a Mossad asset, and he specialized in blackmail and extortion. This is where Epstein Island came in. So basically, what he was doing is that obviously the people that he had dirt on, they're sick because they were pedophiles, things like that. But this was all that was all a psyop. That was all pre-clandestine. That wasn't something that just happened. That he just happened to be this rich playboy, who's a pedophile, and then he has a whole bunch of rich friends. No, it was orchestrated that way. You understand? To keep a certain nation state, who I always show discontent for. This is how they maintain their power through blackmail and extortion.
Top secret.
I read. No, it's in there. If you look, like I said, I don't just look in Google because Google is compromised. So I go to Reddit.
Compromised?
Yeah, I go to Reddit. I go
Most
to
of these search
DuckDuckGo.
engines are compromised.
But I go to places like Reddit. I go to DuckDuckGo.
But
You know what I'm
remember
saying?
on our show last
I'll go
time-
on BitTorrent, things like that. You go into the dark web. This is where you find, and then on top of that, not everything is the truth. But like you said, we have to gather all our pieces
Correct.
and then pick out to see, okay, does this true? This sort of sounds true. You have to cross. It's a lot of stuff that's going on in your brain, obviously. Like that movie. Remember that movie? Was a movie? A Beautiful Mind. Remember when the guy had the thing with the? It's like something like that.
Classic.
So it's not, you can't. What was I saying? I forgot.
You didn't lose your train of thought.
Yeah.
did you?
No. But
You were making. You were making some relevance about not like being able to
Saying
absorb
information, you gotta vent.
absorb problems. Like the more money you have, the less likely you are to suffer the blunt of any consequence.
exactly. I'm like, you're gonna have a lot more problems, but what it is, you're able to. As far basically what I'm saying is that the law is for sale.
People circumvent the system all the time.
Yeah, and the law is for sale.
I would run.
The law is for sale. That's basically what I was. That's basically what I was trying to
subscribe to
convey. The law is for sale.
Say that again, Angel. You said people do what?
They circumvent the system all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you provided some perspective with that parking ticket analogy right there, because
How much does that affect me and you? We're regular guys. How much does that affect us?
right, a lot more than it would affect someone.
Angel, $150 ticket don't affect you, man. Stop.
Yes, that ticket. Let's put it this way: $150 ticket. That ticket affects 10% of my paycheck.
No, maybe me, you, and Mike, not Angel.
Huh? Oh, the prime minister.
You're just talking about the prime minister.
Angel flies.
this
He
guy
flies on
go
a
to-
private jet to Belize
Every holiday.
Yes, I know.
I just came here from out there. That was nice.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
He owns.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here trying to save up for a year just to go down to Florida.
He owns a cobalt. He owns a cobalt mine in Belize. He owns a cobalt mine. He mines cobalt and.
Yeah. So they just.
I'm bothered you sound believable. Yeah, that guy had a real settled face just now. Like, yo.
So the latest news is that Ukraine finally signed that deal, that mineral deal.
They finally signed it. He had no choice. I'm like, Zelensky's washed up
But who he signed it with?
with the United States. That was the initial
US.
deal he was supposed to sign. When he came in and he did, first of all, he was disrespectful. He didn't wear a suit.
He wasn't
can't-
discriminating. Number one, they keep you guys.
He was standing his ground.
The guy
He was not standing his ground.
Listen, the guy wear what he's comfortable in. There's nothing wrong
No,
with
he
it.
No.
dresses like he's
Let me tell
going
you
to
something.
war every
You
day.
see what he
Yeah.
did when he went to
You're
in front
not
of
at war. You're the
But look,
president.
listen, you see what when he went and when the king in Queen in England when he went and meet with them. You see when he meet with what's the name of Australia, he dresses the same way. They never
but-
complain.
Okay, but see, but you made a good point. That's not the United States. You walk into the White House. You have a shirt. You have a suit and tie.
The White House, the
All right,
United
so
States.
forget
is-
about this suit and tie thing. I get it, right? But he attires himself like he's
He
at
look-
war. You're
like,
not at
like,
war.
Like he tried to.
The country's at war, but you're not.
He's not at war.
Like he tried to intimidate somebody. He swole up and all that.
So look, he had to sign that deal. He knew he had to sign that deal.
Listen, the guy, the problem with that, and then this moron vice president, he instigate all of this crap.
You feel have
Who,
some,
Vance?
listen.
I like Vance.
Seriously,
Nah,
you
he's
got
trying to get
some
a
respect
Respect of who?
I believe.
for the leaders.
For these morons, you crazy.
I
Why
like
do you
Vance.
call him a moron?
He's a moron because he's the one who started. If the one of the newscaster, right? They asked a simple
you
question.
didn't hear when he whispered under his breath something disrespectful to him?
Who? He was the one who publicized and
The suit? Yeah, he needed
yeah,
to attire
because one of
himself properly.
one of the newscaster, right, the reporter, they asked a simple question and they said something about they asked him about his clothing and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and he kind of was addressing. No, this moron, the vice president,
stop
come
doing
on now. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's disrespectful. You know, you're coming up in here, Mr. Trump gave you all
Because
this,
it is
gave you all
disrespectful.
that. Whoa, you know, he even started mimic Trump at one point.
Mike.
Because
Mike.
it is disrespectful.
Hold on, Mike.
It is
Mike,
not.
hold on.
Very.
Hold on. You have a meeting with your manager or the CEO of your company, the company that you work for, right? Are you gonna attire yourself like
Yeah, you going in your
I have
jumpsuit?
I have.
No, you're not.
I have, but my boss threw me out about it. No, I'm telling
Mike, we see you in a suit and tie, bro.
I'm not. Listen. I'm not talking about now. When I was working for this bank, right?
I believe all that should have been established
I read
prior
in
to
front of
him
the-
getting there. If
Yeah.
that wasn't established prior to him
That's
getting
common
there,
sense,
then
Angel.
it's
Yeah, but you're
it's-
going to the- let's put it this
what's
way.
common
Common
sense to you?
I don't wear
and-
I don't wear suits. If I'm going to the White House, I'm wearing a suit
Right.
because it's a thing of respect.
Well, all that should have been
Casual
established.
business is perfectly.
Okay, that's not casual business.
Those should
No,
have been.
I'm saying,
Those
I
should
am
have been.
not-
No,
I
wait.
don't have to get
If-
dressed up to go
Yeah.
to the White House.
If
What
we're
are you
in a
talking
suit,
about?
if we're in a suit was that serious, then it should have been a condition of whether or not you're going to come in or not. If you're not going to be
Yeah, but
allowed, if
it
you don't have
shouldn't.
your suit.
That's something
All
that
that
goes.
should've
That's
been-
something that
Thank you,
doesn't need to be
Angel.
said.
Thank you. You have somebody who
All
have
that
some
should
type
have
of
been predetermined.
No, that's something that
That's-
doesn't need to be said.
That could have been. It doesn't need to be
Look,
said
let's put it this
because
way.
That's your culture.
Yeah,
it's my
guys.
culture.
As much. Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. As much as we seen Donald Trump, we all grew up seeing Donald Trump on TV. Have you
Always
ever
in a
seen
suit.
Donald Trump in a pair of
Always.
jeans
In a
on a
blue suit and
tracksuit?
red tie.
I've never seen Donald Trump in a
Well,
pair.
you gotta,
I always
you-
see him in a suit.
You gotta understand. That's him.
Lucy
Say-
Darius,
all right,
you
say-
will stand out in the Pope funeral, right? Everybody else is in.
No, that's not true.
No,
They show you a picture of like 6 people,
Yeah.
and when you expand that, everyone else was in blue suit,
Yeah.
white, all
Right.
of
I'm
that.
just
But you
teasing.
gotta-
You're right about that. I was just teasing. I was just
You gotta
teasing.
I mean, that's business.
You gotta
That's,
blame
it's
the
a
powers that
sign.
be.
Huh?
Right now, if a female were to go to Dubai, they don't stop concerts plenty of time because they thought that the artists were overexposing themselves.
Yeah, but that's a bad analogy because when females go to Dubai, they go over there to get crapped on.
People,
We should learn cultures. We should, it wasn't a surprise like the guy decided to leave his suit at home. That's always how he is.
we don't have no information
Don't
to
attire yourself
support.
That
like
was-
you're going to a war every day.
Let's
because
put it
you're
this
not.
way.
Peop-
Exactly.
The man
Go
is
ahead,
at
continue.
war. His nation is
That's
at
that.
war.
Are we?
yeah, not him.
Is
You still
He's a
attire-
part of. It's just like okay. You remember
Right.
when we talk about that
And the-
you
if the
cannot
district-
avoid politics. You live in politics. It's the same principle. You at war.
You see, Angel is not the right person. Angel is the right person to have this conversation with. You see, this guy attires himself like he's a part of management every day.
He wears a blazer every day.
Every day. Not
He's the
everyone
vice
does
president.
that. But not everyone does that. But that's how someone should attire themselves. As someone who's a part of management.
right.
Yeah, but I am not.
But if it's
okay.
not protocol, it's not protocol. It's not like
It wasn't
standards.
protocol. You see, I could understand. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Angel. Here's the thing. Which you and I, we on the
I know
same
you would
page.
sign off on the top.
If there was a dress code protocol, they should have announced that to him or any.
He's
Okay,
the only one. who
Mike, are
comes
you
to the White
serious?
House.
Mike, are you serious?
saw when,
You're really gonna say that?
you saw
Protocol.
Of course.
You're going to the White House.
And what about what's special about the White House?
I mean, what's so special?
What do you mean?
special
What's so
about the
special
White
about the White House?
Is a place where they have
You
one
know
of
what?
the highest.
You know what?
power,
You know what? What's those? You know what? I'm calling
Right,
ice.
so when you're going
I'm
to a
calling
wedding-
ice on you. I'm calling ice on you.
They have a dress code. I'm glad you bring that up.
That
They have
man's
a
a
dress
whole, that
code,
man's a
right?
whole American.
Says who?
Says the wedding party. They have a dress code.
Right.
The bridesmaid is
Michael.
gonna be such. The groom's gonna be such. The groomsman gonna be such and such. They have a dress code.
No, but you're
And
not-
you
you're not
and
a
I
part- you're not a
have
part.
to follow that.
Right, you buy stocks all the time. You know what the probability is of that man coming in with a suit? Zelensky? You know what
He
the
should have
probability is?
came in with a suit. He came in. He
can't
wasn't even
believe
dressed for war.
But
He
if
came in a pair of sketches, a black jeans, and a black t-shirt.
I would have told you that.
You guys are crazy.
If we
No,
were to
we're
place
not.
a
That's
bet-
what you do.
If we were to
There
place
was
a
no
bet,
dress
I
code.
told you the guy's not
Number
coming with
one.
a
This is business. You dress for the occasion. That was a business deal.
Yeah, man.
Clothing is not gonna stop your intellect or you operate with each other or
let me tell you.
discussion.
No,
Clothing
no,
is
no.
not gonna do that.
See, no.
They're just concerned about the aesthetics of it.
That was
No,
a
because
business.
they're arrogant. That's their problem.
No.
And that moron as a vice president.
No, the one who's arrogant is
They-
Zelensky. He's arrogant for not wearing a suit.
There
Right.
was there a dress code? Was there?
Yes, there's a dress
Where?
code. It's the
No,
White
there's a
House.
dress
You
code
go
when
and
you're
find
going
their
to
dress code that you have to dress up in a suit to come and meet
Yes,
the
you
president.
do to meet the president
Where?
of the United States.
Where?
The highest
That's a
position in the
figmentation
land.
of your
No, that is not a
There's no such
figmentation.
law.
That is
There-
respect. That is
that-
having decorum. Okay, that is having respect. What he did, that was very disrespectful.
It is
Let me tell you,
not.
I can understand. See, Elon's brilliant. Elon's a genius. Zelensky is not. Okay,
Right.
he was a comedian. He was a comedian on Ukraine's Got Talent. You know, singing Shirley Temple songs in a polka dot dress. Okay, and they have proof of that. He is not an important person. You go into the White House, you wear a suit.
You saw the
No,
last,
that-
okay.
those are the-
Listen. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, hold on a second. You see what Elon did with it as a kid? It wasn't that inappropriate.
Who, Xavier? When Xavier was talking,
Yeah, when
was
he's there,
running
and
his mouth.
the two
What-
of them
what-
talk.
what-
Number
what-
friend, let me
what-
go
what-
with the
what-
dress code. He just had a blazer on
With a hoodie and a hat.
and a hoodie in the back, right? Isn't that disrespectful?
No.
You guys on some bull crap,
No,
you know.
because he's Elon. That's why.
You see now?
The same as Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs.
Nah,
was
it
brilliant,
shouldn't be that
okay?
subjective.
Huh?
Balance.
It shouldn't be that subjective.
Yes, it should be that
The
subjective.
Not at all. Not even
Elon
a
is
little bit.
Elon is one of a kind.
sending the
Okay,
wrong message.
Zelensky. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Nobody-
Let me tell you something. I don't care what anybody says. In this
I
world,
might disagree
there is a
with
caste
Justin. I
system.
might
There is,
Okay,
there is
thank you.
hierarchy.
Thank you.
Huh?
Thank you.
Nah, just-
Thank you.
I didn't know. But Elon wears suits all the time.
He
bro.
wears suits all the time, but at that moment, why
Yo,
did they even kick him
The
out
thing-
of the house?
No, the thing about Elon, Elon will be at the White House all day, right? So let's say he's coming from Tesla factory and he comes straight to the White
I'm
House.
wondering if you
just
justify
because
this.
the president summons him, right?
Yeah.
You don't have time to go home, take a shower and
He should because
The
it's
guy
it's a
sleep.
dress code.
You know, the guy
it's
sleep.
a dress code.
No.
So you
No,
should, right?
no. We're talking about
No,
Zelensky's
I'm
coming
being
to
sarcastic.
the White House.
Exactly.
To the White House to meet the president of the
And
United States of America.
You put your suit
to
on.
sign off on a contract or on a deal, right? Attire yourselves, because that was planned.
Yeah, but that's
That
our
was
culture,
planned.
though. That's
Eh?
our culture.
No, man.
No,
There
that
is
is
nothing
business.
wrong.
That is global business culture. Zelensky is he not the president
Let's-
of Ukraine?
let-
He's the president of Ukraine,
Yeah.
right? So that makes him a world leader.
We don't
Okay,
correct.
have
We
some
don't
respect for
understand-
yourself,
we don't
and you
understand
put a
so.
suit on.
What-
Okay, that's how you are taken seriously.
I don't know how
what?
even to fathom this in my mind.
Hold
In
on.
my mind,
So-
what you
so
guys are
Elon-
discussing.
See, you just want to be argumentative because you wear a suit and tie 6 days a week, so I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, you
I
wear
have
brown
a
suits
dress
and purple
code,
shirts
I
and
have a
gray
dress
suits.
code
Yeah, that-
I
all
have
that
to
has
follow.
been- that-
Correct. I have a dress code what I have to follow.
Right, is
All
that
that
it?
was implemented.
All right then.
So what's the point? There was no dress code.
No,
Look,
How do you
nobody
know
tell
that?
you have to
There
wear a
was no-
three-piece
there was
suit
no
to work.
dress code.
What?
They didn't say you have to wear a three-piece
You see
suit.
who you see wear three-piece
You.
suit? I only
They
what
said
is
dress
three-piece
casual,
suit?
right?
man
What is
spruced
three-piece
They
him
said
out.
dress casual, right?
What is three-piece suit? The
No,
piece in the
did
middle.
they say to dress casual?
My top and my pants. That is three-piece
What?
suit, right?
What's the dress code
What?
for your place of work?
Business casual.
All right, I know. So
Meaning
business casual.
Business casual to a certain level, and then certain departments you have to wear
What is
suits.
business
So let's put it this way: you're not going to
Business
go in there.
casual is like what Mr. Prime Minister would have on.
All right,
right?
so you're not going to go in there
button
wearing.
down shirt.
No, this.
Button down shirt. Yeah, button down shirt,
this-
pants,
look,
slacks.
Look at his shirt, Look at his shirt.
No, I'm talking about those type of shirt, like button down shirts. And maybe
You need
a
blazer,
sweater,
You need a blazer.
right?
You Could be a button-down shirt, but do you need a blazer?
Yes, you need a blazer.
You need a blazer.
Yes. Again, it depends on the department.
So you're
Again.
telling me that if the CEO of your company is coming for a meeting and you're aware of it like a week in advance, you would wear what you have on right now?
Depends.
You will
If
be fired.
If it's not
Exactly.
a dress code,
Fired.
maybe not.
Maybe
No,
not.
you'll be
Why?
fired.
No, again,
What, you're gonna go in there with some cargo shorts,
dress-
some slippers,
listen,
and a
unless-
mariner, and a mesh
Guys,
shirt, and a mesh t-shirt?
dress code
The only way you get to do that and get away with it,
is what?
you must be
As if you're
some
Elon.
top guy in the company and you're bringing in a lot of money.
Like Elon.
No. If
That's
if-
the only way
if
you'll get
there's-
away
listen,
with it.
Mike, you
There's
gotta
an
understand.
exception to
If-
someone who is bringing in a lot of funds to the company.
Yeah.
Not you.
Most companies
Not
has a
saying that
dress
you're
code,
not, I'm
right?
saying-
Most company has a dress code.
The White
Now,
House has a dress
if
code.
I'm going in a conference meeting with the CEO and there's a dress code and I go looking like this, my black behind will be fired.
Yes, you will.
Right. So now, again,
You are the
there's-
face of the company.
Correct. There is no dress code pertaining to. It's a cultural thing where if you're going, they have this facetious thing where if you're going to the White House, right? It's like a mental thing. Oh, you know, I have to look presentable. I have to look good because I'm going to the White House. Even if you're just going touring in the White House without even meeting the president, you're going to dress us some type of way. It's a mental thing. There is no law or no regulation.
I
that you
understand
have
there's
to
no law,
dress
but
and structure
there's
yourself
no law,
how you
but
want
you
to
should
structure.
have common sense.
Oh, look at this. Oh, I had to pull it up.
What?
Okay, for public tours of the White House, there is no strict dress code for public tours. While business casual attire is generally recommended, tourists can typically
Recommended.
while business casual attire is generally recommended, tourists can typically wear what they would normally wear as a tourist in Washington, D.C. However, for the West Wing tour, which is where they were at, which is less common and by invitation only, which Zelensky was invited,
I was once
a
there by
business
invitation
casual
only.
dress code is enforced. He was not business casual that day.
I was in the White House.
That could
by
consider
invitation.
business casual.
I didn't
is
have to
not-
wear a suit.
He had on
All
a
he
pair
had
of
to do is
sketches.
just put on a
He had
blazer.
on a pair of sketches, some stained black jeans, and a black T-shirt. He looked like a bootleg Steve Jobs.
Can anyone
That is not
identify
business
who
casual.
this
I,
guy
I was once in the White
what
House.
was that?
This
by
guy.
invitation.
Your
I
phone
didn't
is
wear a suit.
going.
What do you mean?
I was in the White House by invitation.
You went to the White House?
Yes, I didn't wear a suit.
Wearing Belize.
No, White House in D.C.
What White House? You
Isn't
talking about the
that,
White House? You talking about that the White House, the seafood spot on Boston Road? The White House?
On Pennsylvania Avenue.
Oh, okay. That's what's his name, Dorset, the guy that used to own Twitter.
All right, show it to Wayne in it, right? So this is how this guy.
See, now this guy's allowed to go dress to the White House
Right,
like that. Do
because
you know why?
he's a
Because he's
co-founder.
somebody special. He's not
Right.
Zelensky.
It's not everyone, man.
Well, that's his person.
You guys
That's
are
his
so
personality. I
biased.
get that, right?
You're-
So they
ain't that the
pushed
popcorn
him
and
out
kettle
his
black?
own company.
You're biased.
You
Because
guys
I
are
wear
so
tires
biased.
himself.
He's not even.
You're
funny.
biased.
This is
Mr.
not the look
Mr.
of a
CNN Potter.
CEO, right?
I'm pretty certain that guy would wear a suit.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure
No,
that guy would
he
wear
wears, but he stopped wearing suit. He stopped wearing suit.
So
completely.
what is the justification? I want to hear.
No,
that.
the
like,
thing
like a Mark Zuckerberg, right? Whenever you see him, he's in a t-shirt and a jeans.
A black
So he
T-shirt.
would
yeah.
be-
But when he goes to Capitol Hill,
He has on a suit.
he has a
So
He has a
he,
suit
he
on.
would be fine to walk in front of the president like that and should know.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Who?
What's the
Zuckerberg?
other name?
Zuckerberg?
Even Zuckerberg. They
What?
would. They
No, but
would
he's
be
not
fine.
gonna do that.
But he's
He
not
has-
going to
How
do
do you say
that.
he was not
He
gonna
won't
do
do
that?
that.
So
He
check
won't do
this
that.
out.
He won't do that.
I'm gonna
He
show
won't do
you
that.
a photo of when he went to go see the president, right?
Donald Trump wears suits. That's an old school
See?
businessman.
He been
Put on a
Look,
suit.
he put on a suit when he went to go see the president. And that's a guy that don't wear suits. He wears tie-dye shirts.
I thought he was gonna wear a suit.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
what-
You
what
guys
we're
are just
saying is-
making a thing where it's not.
No,
Mike.
no, it was high. Let me tell you something. You went there, first
that
of all.
wasn't
Go,
important.
Okay.
we are here.
Let me tell you something.
We have been culturized. That's
Correct.
how it is.
Yeah.
You understand?
Exactly.
Somebody,
Exactly.
So that means since, and
so
that's
our
our
culture-
culture, and you're visiting
So
us in
all
our
those rules
country.
and regulations should have been established prior.
Correct.
No, no.
You know what? I need to come over there and share the prime minister. See, that's the real prime minister. He know how stuff supposed to run. Things you need to put in place.
No.
Regulation need to put in. Need to be enforced.
No.
And so forth.
If you go to the White House, if you go to the
or.
White House and you're there to sign a minerals deal, a $300 billion minerals deal, you wear a goddamn suit.
I know some houses. If you don't take your shoes off at the door, you can't come in.
Exactly.
Here's the thing. They saw when he was coming. Why they didn't block him from coming in?
As a courtesy, you're supposed to take off your shoes.
Why they didn't block him before he come in the Oval Office when he has to pass to when he's coming out of his limo? Why they didn't stop him from there?
As soon as he came out the car.
No.
As soon as he came out the car, Trump told him, "You don't wear a suit."
Yeah. As soon as he came
Trump told him, "You don't wear a suit. You don't have a suit."
Yeah, in a very condescending way.
Yes, as he should. I would have told him the same thing.
He said it to him as soon as he came out the car.
Matter of fact, if I was
so why they still allow him to come and sit down with the president? Where this moron
to probably like, okay, probably his
what?
assistant is in the car. With
Yeah, maybe he has his suit. Maybe they giving him the benefit of the doubt.
You would address it right there.
Appears as if he just came out the battlefield. Like,
Exactly.
flew on a plane and
He did come out of the
Exactly.
battlefield.
Smelling like Newports. Somebody Newports and liquor.
So why is that war with Russia? What are you talking about?
To your point, why
24/7.
Have you? Alright, so he's at war with Russia, right? Have you ever seen Putin?
Putin always wears a suit. Putin always wears a
Putin is like
suit.
Trump. He's always in a suit. Matter of fact,
You know why?
when
Because
Putin
Putin
was
is a
walking
businessman.
down, when he was in Berlin, it was
There's a
Berlin.
time and a place for everything.
Okay, exactly. He was in a regular shirt, regular button-down shirt, and a slack pant, and just chilling with his boys, with his security.
Zelensky should have been in a suit.
He should have been in a suit, especially to sign a $300 billion minerals deal.
I'm not gonna sit there and said yes, he should probably dress up, but there was no rule.
There doesn't for something like that. There doesn't need to be a rule. That is common sense.
If you're driving down the street and you make a U-turn and there's no sign that says no U-turn, are you breaking the law?
No.
Exactly my point. The fact that
we didn't say that it was illegal. We didn't say that it's illegal. That was in bad taste.
That was courtesy.
That was in bad taste.
No,
that was in bad taste what he did.
Taste?
He has no decorum. You are a world leader. You are the president of this country, and you just basically embarrassed your whole country because you don't wear a suit going to a very important business deal.
Is the suit gonna get them the deal for him to sign?
He already had the deal in play, but these are the things that you do.
You're selling a car, right? The car is dirty inside and out.
Like what Nike is doing now with their new shoes.
Oh, the what? Oh, the Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
Dirty Air Force
They're
Ones.
selling dirty sneakers now.
So the car is dirty inside and out, right? You don't think you're able to get more if you were supposed to wash
if you would have cleaned it and
vacuum
detailed
the car
it
before you go and sell it? You don't think so?
Presentation is a key, right?
All right, then.
Is a key. Is that they always saying what is it? The first impression is always the best.
Your first impression is your only impression.
Right. So I agree to the point where certain modesty, certain approach of where you do certain things would be wise for you to dress appropriately, right? Now, in context is that if I am not breaking a rule, a regulation, a structure where an infrastructure set in place, I don't think that should affect you and I intellectual conversation.
No, they were just saying that he should have worn a suit.
Yeah.
Right,
They didn't say that. Hey,
but you understand that
you have to leave the White House before you're not wearing a
But
suit.
do you understand?
Mike,
they had to say that.
This was a $300 billion mineral deal.
They had
Right, so you're gonna dismiss something heavy like
A $300 billion
suit?
Yes,
You're right.
because that's a
Ridiculous.
$300 billion mineral deal. You wear a
You
suit.
gotta understand that they had to say that. They had to check the guy.
I would
They
have threw
had
him
to
out.
check him.
I would have threw him out.
They
Yeah.
were leaders.
Yeah,
You got to
he got checked.
certain things.
You remember that lady from what's her name from Australia, which she's the prime minister over there.
Yeah.
When she came there, what she was in a regular blouse, right? where you see most of these young teenagers and a pants. Why they didn't check her?
It's hard to determine.
Was she
that.
there to sign a deal, or was she there just visiting?
I don't know what was the case. What she was meeting the president, and it was also Trump.
But you need to find out
females don't
exactly
wear
what they were
suits
doing.
That has
like
nothing to
that.
do with
Females don't have to
anything.
wear
Whether
suits.
she was signing a deal, she was
No,
front
doesn't work.
of the president.
Doesn't work that way.
Females are not
You see,
required.
you guys are such
to
a
wear suits.
hypocrite.
No,
I'm
we're not
even-
hypocrites. This is decorum. There are certain rules of engagement. This is where social
demure,
protocol.
right?
Look, let's put it this way, dude. I hate wearing suits. I cannot stand wearing suits. But if I'm going to go sign a $300 billion mineral deal, I'm wearing a suit. Everybody in that room
But
is
that's
wearing
your
a suit.
preference. That's
No,
your
that's not.
preference.
That is not your preference, because my preference is not to wear a suit. I don't want to wear a suit.
Justin,
But see, you're respecting the
Justin,
business
when
deal.
you invite somebody into your house, you gotta let them know what your rules are. If you invite
Precisely. That's what I'm saying.
No,
And if
no,
they-
you know, I
if
don't
they
need
don't
to let,
adhere to that,
I don't
they
need to
can't
let
come
any.
in.
I don't need to let anybody know my rules.
Then
you
how
know
they
why?
gonna know the rules?
Then you're not my friend.
What do you mean you're not?
Because I
friend?
was raised with morals and standards.
That's
so if
fine.
I invite you to your house, I don't have to tell you my rules. You should know that already.
They can't read your mind. How they gonna
They
know
don't
your
need to
rules?
read my mind. What do you mean? It's
You
common
may
courtesy.
Want, you may
Mike,
want no shoes in your house,
Mike,
right?
so do you wear shoes in your
So I'll
house?
tell people the minute they
You
come in the
wear
house.
shoes in
Yeah, I
your
wear
house?
shoes, but I
Why?
take it off at the front door.
Yeah, no.
Wait a minute. No, I wear. No, okay, let me reiterate.
Trying to
I
trick me.
wear shoes when I go in there. Sometimes I go
Yeah.
in my house. I wear the shoes right into the bedroom. But sometimes I will come back out and I take it off. Sometimes, but the principle of the house or the protocol of the house is that we're trying to take off our shoes at the front door because we leave bacteria and germs
Yeah,
and all
of
that
course.
stuff up. But at the same time, I do, including the kids, sometimes wear the shoes right in their room. Do what they gotta do. Come back out and take off the shoes.
Nah.
Now, do I enforce it? Do whatever case may be? No, not necessarily, but it's recommended. Just like I tell them, you use a plate, you wash a plate.
Yeah.
But you go in the sink sometimes and you will see still a plate, right?
Yeah.
A plate in there still. And eventually sometime they will come out and wash the plate. I don't enforce it. I mean, sometimes I try to enforce it. Overall is that if now I set up, that was a recommendation because what? I want to keep out rodent, roaches, etc., right? So I recommend wash the plate because we can avoid this. Now, the different structure now I said, listen, the rule in this house is that you need to wash the plate else your behind is going to get busted. That's a rule. That's a regulation that is set up.
No one behind.
And it's enforced.
And then more
enforce.
so,
Exactly.
and then more so, him not wearing a suit to the White House, that is a huge sign of disrespect.
No.
If Trump
would
and Vance
not
wouldn't have
still-
checked him, every world leader would have came to the United States and did the same exact thing.
Right.
Look,
You don't want them to set the
you
precedent.
have the opportunity,
Exactly.
as what Mike said before. Let's say they check him, right, when he was coming out the car.
They did check him.
Why you still didn't enforce it and say, here, you coming out, I don't like how you look. This is the rule and regulation. Go back in your car or you get your assistants and you
but
take your
it wasn't
suit.
like that. They were just they asked him the question, why didn't you?
Why didn't
Why
you
you
wear a
still
suit?
allow him to come and sit down, even
listen,
start
the
having
the reporter asked, why didn't you wear a suit?
Right.
This is after Trump asked him when he came out. Trump is like,
You didn't come with a suit. Like he told him straight up. It's like,
He said something. You know why it escalated? That moron vice president just started, you come in here disrespectful and
no,
bring out and
he did not.
the Trump,
He defended.
Trump here.
No, he defended his
And you didn't
president.
apologize and all that.
No.
This is the crap
You
what he was
need to
doing.
watch that interview again because
watched
what
the
happened? No,
interview several
Zelensky
times.
started it first because Zelensky said something slick to Trump, and then that's when Vance checked him. Okay, Vance did what he was supposed to do because he
What
backed
he
up his
said, let me
president.
tell you what he said. He said, listen, at
No,
the end of the day,
I remember exactly what he said. He said, I'm going to have problems. If I'm going to have problems, you're going to have problems too.
He said
now, the
this-
way Trump took that, that's a threat. For one, you don't
That's
say
not a
that.
threat.
For
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
say
you
that
don't
to
know what's
somebody.
gonna happen
You
here.
don't say that to
That's
that's
somebody.
not a threat. He's
No.
telling
He
the
was
country
he was
that
talking
you're
slick.
going to face
No,
your
you don't do
possibility
that.
you're going to face
No,
some
you don't do that. And on top of that, you
Why
don't
you
say
do
that
that?
on public television.
Why?
You don't say that on
Mike,
if I'm going to have a problem, you're going to have a problem
Mike,
too.
listen.
Like you're basically trying to
Let me tell
strong
you,
arm
if-
Trump.
If this is
Right,
your
that was a little bit
mindset,
overreaching.
this
Yeah.
is your
Definitely
mindset.
overreaching.
With what?
When you're around powerful people, you're gonna get yourself in trouble.
How?
If this is your mindset.
Yeah.
No,
If
I
you
go
feel like
by
you could
rules.
say
Listen.
whatever you want to say and conduct yourself however.
No, Mike,
gonna-
I follow protocols. You're right. If there's rules, if
Protocol doesn't apply to powerful people, sir. We already explained this.
if I'm working for Justin, right? And Justin have rules and regulation, I'm not gonna have no problem with him because this is his rules and regulation. If I come in and the rules right across the board that I need to wear Adidas, or I need to wear Nike, or I need to wear VI chair, whatever the case may be, whatever brand, right? Whatever. And this is your rules. This is your rules. I'm gonna apply it. I'm not.
But Mike, if we're doing business with each other and you come into my business and we're signing a multi-million-dollar deal, I'm not gonna tell you to wear a suit, but you better wear a damn suit. Otherwise, there is no business.
Appearance should not be an objective or a
what? Are you crazy?
Or a deal, because number one,
appearance and image is one of the top components when you're dealing with business, especially dealing in big business.
Right, but establish
image is perception is everything.
Thank you.
You don't need to establish it. Perception is everything. No,
I know if I
you don't need to establish it. These are adults. These are not children. Okay, you don't need to hold their hands.
And some
listen.
adults
Shout out,
no.
Shout out to Robert
Those
Raymond.
adults. Then let's put it this way. Then those adults that you need to hold their hand, they shouldn't be running a country. You understand?
He wears a 3-piece.
Shout out to Robert Raymond. That man always wear a suit.
Oh, you talking about? Oh, shout out to Get It Rob. Oh, you don't know? Hey, you know who Get It Rob is, right? Go on SoundCloud and look up Get It Rob.
It's like an alter ego though, because he's the rapper on the side.
He's the rapper on the side too.
What the boy?
Rob Get It. I found him on
he's nice.
SoundCloud.
He's nice.
Tell him we want to
that
be
guy wears a suit
right around the clock, right?
every day.
Yeah.
3-piece.
Right. Is it a requirement for him to wear a suit at post office?
No,
No, it's not.
No, but guess what? No. If
Precisely.
you're the boss, right, the top.
But he dresses for the position that he wants,
So
not
I'm
the
saying
position that he's in.
That you have, right? I mean, I've seen a district manager before.
Learning a lot.
When I started district manager, I'm like,
I'm learning a
I
lot.
didn't even know that I was a district manager.
When you go and talk to your boss and you leave out of your house, maybe just like Mr. Prime Minister, right? And you're going to talk to your boss. You just randomly say, you know what, Mike, you need to... What, you're going to run home and go dress up?
If I'm going to talk to my boss?
Yeah, you're going to talk to your boss.
I mean,
and
I think I dress...
Mike might have something in the car.
I think I dress like
Angel wears a blazer every day.
You think you're just appropriate?
No, would you say I dress appropriate?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
Most
that.
of the supervisors dress appropriate. I want to say
right,
probably...
you have business casual, right?
Yeah.
You dress, business casual.
Who's the most common? Probably
Right.
the most common dressing would be Tony. Everybody else, they dress up. Like they wear slacks.
But is that a rule? Where you have to
There's
dress
a guy.
up?
There's a guy in the White House.
You're in a certain position, You have to attire yourself.
Yeah, because there's supervisors.
There was a guy in the White House.
They have to lead by example.
Right?
There was a guy in the White House. I think he's a congressperson, whoever it is. Like after COVID, they had relaxed the protocols a little bit with the suits and all that. And even after he started coming in with like his T-shirt and all that, they ran him out.
Yeah,
a Congress member who go and sitting making laws and rules and regulations
with his hoodie,
sitting there with.
And what's Zelensky? Zelensky is the president of a whole country.
Right. So again,
you just contradicted yourself.
How I'm contradicting myself?
Because a congressman obviously would be in a lower position.
But
than a president of a whole country.
You're missing the point. If there was a rule or regulation, this guy would be out.
There are things that need. There are things that are unsaid, but you still do it anyway. Everybody knows that. That is proper protocol.
Jasmine Crockett.
But then you gotta understand that.
Wear what do you call it? A crack top with
Batty rider.
Yeah. A batty rider. Batty rider, you call it here in America?
Yeah, batty rider. What's up, batty rider? A baja.
Pum pum shots.
Pum pum shots.
How would that look? Would you think that would be appropriate?
No, you can't.
She's not appropriate.
In basically, even though there is no regulation to say you have to dress a certain way, but yes, it still would print a bad image if she come up in there in pum pum shorts and crop top.
I would like.
She still looks bad.
I would like to see that.
She got a crooked wig. Look, her wig is crooked, and she got caterpillars for eyelashes.
Nah, but on a serious note, all right. So why do you think it was appropriate for Kamala to get, what's her name, Megan Thee Stallion, to come shake her ass and stay?
Yeah, that wasn't appropriate at all.
At a DNC rally.
That wasn't appropriate at all.
Why do you think that was appropriate?
I found that highly insulting.
This woman is an entertainer, right? No. Most of these artists, especially female artists, they're promoting, sex is a thing, right? This is what they sell. And the
At a
strategy.
DNC
You don't
rally.
in the
Yeah,
political
I
realm.
mean,
No,
what
you don't.
think from
That
the
is highly
Republican
inappropriate.
to the Democrats.
That is highly
This is what
inappropriate.
you know, everything is sex needs to be a
That
part
is
of it.
highly
For
inappropriate.
what?
You do
For
not
what?
do that in a
How is that
political
gonna
realm.
help?
Or for it to
How is
draw
that going to
people.
help the campaign?
I
Draw
don't
which
know, but
people?
What?
Draw which people? Some
They,
pervert.
I'm pretty
For
sure.
all type of people. Look, if you look at regular commercial on TV, if some woman that's selling some type of pill is not half naked or something like that,
But that's
just to
not.
sell you a pill,
But that's not
or-
the
or
Democratic
selling you
National
an apple.
Convention. That's not the DNC.
But
Is
I'm
it?
saying-
That's in a political realm. Okay, that is a very serious thing.
It's the
You don't
same
have
thing.
a woman going up there to shake her ass because you're trying to get votes. That's an
But
insult.
that's how it is. That's
No,
how
Right,
it is.
who's
no,
gonna
no, no.
vote for her because
That is
of
insulting.
What?
Who's gonna vote for her
A
because
lot
of
of people probably will be enticed.
That is
Pretty
insulting.
sure she has a
No.
lot
Do you know
of
what kind of
influence.
message? Do you know what
She
kind of
has very
message that
strong
sends?
influence.
Do you know what kind of message that sends, especially to?
I-
Remember,
I-
I deal with
I-
nothing. I deal with
Very
nothing but black
strong
women.
influence.
Do you have any idea? I deal with nothing but black women. I don't deal with
Correct.
Spanish.
Some
I don't
people
do
are
whatever.
very
Do you have
influential,
any
but
idea what
that's
kind of
fair.
message that sends out to women of color? That this is basically what they see you as. Like they put you on this platform, a political realm, and then basically you have a representation of your people, and she's out there shaking her ass. I don't want my woman being looked at like
But
that.
remember, you're dealing with
Right.
entertainment.
So
No.
hear what Angel said. Hear what Angel have to say.
What were you saying, Angel?
Nah, somebody like Megan,
Megan.
she's very influential.
Influential to who? Who does she influence?
I'm pretty sure she has a lot of followers.
She influences a lot of young women.
Maybe between
So
18
her
and
followers, right?
18 and 36.
You think they saw that and went to go vote for the Democrats because she was up there shaking her ass?
a fraction
Of
them,
course, I
definitely.
think.
Fraction of what?
Of
A fraction
course, I
of follow
think.
a base.
Of course.
If it was people that were very influential,
Lopez.
hold on. If it was people that were very influential, right? The Democrat would have won by a landslide. You know why? They had Beyonce, they had Taylor Swift, they had all these celebrities.
Cardi B, all this.
Right?
It was,
Correct.
it was a celebrity
Case in
turnout.
point.
So why didn't all those people that they so-called influence?
So you
voted?
think because of the dress code, why they lost?
Bro, when it comes down to politics, ain't nobody listening to Beyonce.
Exactly. Ain't nobody
to
listening to Cardi B.
Precisely.
Ain't nobody.
Precisely.
It was
It's just
the-
if you went
the
and
point.
get George Soros and he could say, hey, if you make her win, we're going to make sure you guys get so and such amount of funds.
Exactly.
Trump already conditioned society, right? At the end of the day.
What do you mean Trump conditions society? Conditions society
So
what?
again, at the end of the day,
It's
people are hurting, right? People are hurting. Trump come and make a promise where he said, "Hey, I'm gonna make your life better." People are gonna gravitate towards.
And he
that,
is.
right. People are hurting. People losing their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
People can't find the next dollar. The immigrants coming over here and creating
And they're
whatever
getting
it is.
getting pushed out.
Trump said, "I'm gonna clean this up." This is what the public want to
Which
hear.
he's been doing.
No, he came in the office. He started doing some of that, but in the backfire of it, his own people who put him in office or helped put him in office, and now is feeling feeling the pain because now
Feeling it like
Feeling the pain how?
feeling it like respectfully like the Hispanics. Like I believe like 65-70% of Hispanics voted for Trump.
Yeah, because
now
they-
they're feeling
and-
it
and-
and
and-
they're
How?
regret it.
No, they're not. I'm
That's what
Hispanic.
I'm
I'm not feeling it.
Not you, one person out of what?
I'm not feeling it.
Really?
Most Hispanics that voted for him are not feeling
People
it.
are
You know what Hispanics are feeling it? The ones that don't belong here.
They're
You are not a
family.
citizen here. So therefore, you got to go.
You know, at the end of the day, I know you guys.
Guys
in
sound like a
denial.
xenophobe.
They're in denial. So what
No,
I'm
you got to
saying-
go. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
When you say they're feeling it, what are they feeling?
Yeah, what do we feel? I want to know.
Their family members are being separated from them. A lot of Hispanics.
Mike.
losing
Well, their
family.
family members should have got here.
Angel,
Should have came
Angel.
here legally then.
People that are from Jamaica who are illegal also, right? That have committed a crime or whatever, get sent back to Jamaica also.
Okay.
Right?
Every country.
If you came here illegally, doesn't matter where you're from, India, China, wherever,
Right.
you know?
They don't send you back. They just throw you in jail. Because you belong here now.
So they're not pinpointing picking out Hispanic people to send them back.
Yeah, they're
No
here
such
illegally.
thing. So they say they're feeling it.
They're
What do you
doing it
mean?
without prejudice. They are feeling it at a greater rate. Like you got to understand this. More Hispanics that are getting.
Why? Because Mexico is next
Because they're here illegally. They are not here legally.
It seems like they have a higher concentration.
Of course they do because they're here
next
illegally.
door. If the U.S. was next door to Jamaica, there would be a lot of Jamaicans.
Yeah, there'd be a whole lot of you. Say if Mexico was Jamaica, there'd be a whole lot of yardies. Yardies take over Texas. It wouldn't be tacos. It'd be oxtails.
Jerk chicken.
Oxtails and jerk chicken. You know what I'm saying? No horchata, be nothing but sorrel. No, but see, even something like that. Like I hear a lot of that because, like I said, you guys know I watch all kinds of news outlets. So I hear a lot of that. Oh, they're feeling. It's funny because I hear that on CNN. Okay, what are they feeling? Where are you getting this information from? They're making things up. They're fear mongering. Don't get me wrong. There's some casualties. Of course, there's some horror stories, but there's going to be casualties to something like this. But like I tell people, it is necessary. Everybody's saying, "Oh, but that's not right." It doesn't matter if, oh, but I feel that's not right. Yeah, but feelings are not facts. Facts are not feelings. They never have been. They never will be. You understand? We've gotten so entrenched. Basically, the United States is this high in crap that you have to do something drastic in order to bring that crap down. And it's not going to happen in 4 years like we were talking about. It won't happen in this term. Hopefully, somebody from his side or from his party, if they win that 2028 presidential term, then maybe they can carry that on, but we don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, look, right now, this is a trick that the Democrats play all the time. And what it is, and mind you, I'm still a Democrat. I didn't leave my party, but I noticed the kind of dirty games that they play, and I don't like that. Okay? The 4 years that Donald Trump was in office the first time, they were at odds with him constantly. He couldn't get anything done because for every step that he would take forward, they pull some nonsense, which becomes counterproductive. That brings them 5 steps back. The same thing that they're doing now. They're making up all these lies. They're fear mongering. Okay, they are splitting and dividing people. Okay, they're causing all this ruckus, and you know why they're doing that, right? Because come 2028, when they start running, they're the ones causing the problem. But then what they're going to say is that, oh, you need to put us back in office so then this way we don't have all these problems.
That's poor excuse.
They're the ones that cause the problems.
He has the House and the Senate. So he has the House and the Senate.
Yes, I know that, but he doesn't have media. And media has been doing one hell of a job for the last 100 days while he's in office. Basically, media has not given him any kind of accolades whatsoever, any kind of props to all the stuff that he's doing. All they do is negative. All they do is focus on the negative. If we looking at
they're getting paid to do that. So
exactly, and they're getting paid to do that. Let's put it this way: 80% of what he's doing is good, but it's the 20% that's all they talk about.
True or false?
You know what I'm saying? It's the same.
True
Look, just
false?
like look, perfect example. Perfect example. Like he's saying, Spanish people are feeling it. I'm not feeling it. And then look, I have my friends that I have another podcast with. I'm arguing with him. He's also Puerto Rican. I said, bro, what are you feeling? I say, what are you feeling? Your bills are paid, right? He says, yeah. I said, you're gainfully employed, right? Yeah. I said, are you getting taxed something crazy? No. I said, then what are you talking about?
And the unemployment just lost 115,000 because of the stuff what Trump is also doing.
What you mean, 115,000 what?
Employment.
Then good. Wait, what do you mean, unemployment?
Loss, meaning people are unemployed.
Okay,
and more is to
all right, so they got to go find another job, bro.
You can't find jobs like, for instance, you know, one of the
there's plenty of work out here.
You know, one of the things also gonna hit the industry. What a lot of people are gonna face: truck drivers. It started happening already.
What do you mean truck? What do you mean they're gonna face
Because
what?
the ports are closing down. There's nothing coming in. China hold a good chunk change.
So you find something else to do.
Find what?
Something else to make money.
How?
That's something.
What do you mean how? You survived.
You never been in a position where you have to get a different job? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, some of these guys. This is all they know.
It's a career.
It doesn't matter.
It's like
then you have to adapt.
This is what they work. They breed. They're born.
Let me ask you something.
Doesn't matter.
What happens to a shark? What happens to a shark if he doesn't move?
Doesn't get fed.
What happens to a shark if he doesn't move?
Necessarily.
No. What happens to a shark?
You swim across him and he just stay right there.
What happens to a shark? No. What happens to a shark if he doesn't move?
What happens to the shark?
He drowns.
I don't know about that.
No, look it up. Why think?
No, I'm not saying that you're not.
No, but do you understand?
I don't know about that.
No, but do you understand what I mean by that? He drowns. Do you know why? Because he has no motion. He's not adapting. So like these people, like you said, yeah, it's messed up. A lot of people.
Drown if he stays still. And many
What
times
do you
I'm
mean?
watching documentaries.
No,
and
yeah,
and
sharks.
I see
Look on sharks. Sharks, they
Always moving. For
Yeah,
real.
they have
I've
the
seen sharks
yeah.
staying still, especially the killer whale. They
No,
still there and they
I
just,
didn't. No, that's a killer whale. That's not a shark.
no,
Two different
I said
things.
you have killer whale sharks.
Yeah, no, they're called killer whale. You have a killer whale and
You
you
have
have
the
a
killer
shark.
whale and you have the great white shark.
But that's two different species.
So, right, but I'm saying they're also I've in history history channel.
Yeah.
When they are doing their documentation on especially shark, because I love that. When they do it on the sharks and lions and
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
No, but what I'm saying
they
is
have
that
the sharks there, like the
I-
killer whale. The
yeah,
killer
but if you
sharks.
don't, yeah, but look, sharks.
And they just stay there
Basically, okay, I'm saying that to say this. Okay, if you don't move, you're gonna die. So basically, people that don't have a job and this is all they know, they've been doing this for 20 years, then find something else to do.
I mean, I'm not gonna knock
You
that.
understand?
Yeah, they're gonna have to.
This country was
improvise
built on that. This
and-
country was
and
built
do
on
things.
this country was built on creating something out of nothing. You have to find something else to do. There's gonna be like I said. What did I say? I've been saying it's gonna get bad before it gets good.
It's like you have a guy that does real estate where he punch papers and do something for 40-something years.
Okay.
Right. Technology come out now.
All right.
Right. 9 out of 10, those guys are gonna get lost.
That's the nature of the beast, bro.
Well, yes and no, because now as you have to put things in place to still make these guys relevant.
No,
Right?
you don't.
You can't just say
No,
because they're still
you
a part
don't.
of society.
Yeah, you're right. So if they're part of society, then they need to find something else to do.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that you have to put things in place where it would encourage them or make them still want to be
No,
a part of society.
you don't.
Can't put
Do you know
things
what that is? Do you know what you're describing?
What?
That's socialism. This is not a socialist country.
How is
This is not a socialist country. This is free enterprise. Do you know what that means? It's either sink or swim. That's the
can't-
harsh truth
You
of it.
can't just look on things on cut and dry like that.
But that's exactly what it
As
is.
leader of these countries, as leaders of these, you see, this is one of the things that I always rate China. You see, China's a socialist
Invest. country, sir.
They invest into their own. You see, and this is one of the things where we can sit here.
They
and
invest
we-
into their own, but their people are poor.
I mean, you're gonna have poor people, regardless of how we.
No, you don't understand. Their people are poor. The only people that are rich are the ones in high government positions, and then those businessmen that have ties to those high government positions. Everybody
I don't know where
else.
you're getting that information from.
What do you mean? It's common. You can go on Google and actually find that.
Google?
Yeah, easily. Look, in the United States, let's put it this way: there's certain things, but in the United States is the only country to where you're poor. The only reason you're poor in the United States is because you want to be poor.
You know, there are a lot of poor people here. You know that?
Yeah, you know why, right?
Why is
Because
that?
they want to be poor.
No, they're not.
They're not hustling hard enough.
No, I agree, Mike. You could sell dirt here and make money. You know, I know a company in New Rochelle by the name of Steiner Sports.
Yeah,
Steiner Sports.
right on. What do you call on Huguenot?
Huguenot, yeah. They do this thing where they sell the dirt from like Major
League Baseball.
Major
Yeah,
League Baseball.
that's a sports
Put in
memorabilia
a
company.
container and have someone sign off on it and sell that for like.
$500.
Back then, like $200. I could imagine how much they sell it for now, right? And that dirt could come from anywhere. It could come from
As long as there's
anywhere, right?
someone sign it.
Right. So, and you could only do that in America.
But
'Cause
that's
you
people-
can't go to
that's-
Jamaica
that's
and
Mike,
sell.
That's
I
people
can make-
who are being creative,
Mike,
right?
no, that's anybody. You got to do what you got to do to get by. Look, I can make $100 a day collecting these.
I know
Yeah.
people build houses collecting those.
There you go.
How much money Reggie's made off of that?
$10,000 a month.
Nah, he don't make no 10 grand a month. But Reggie's made, Reggie's a carrier at the job. But what it is, that's what I'm saying. This is the only country that if you're broke is because you want to be broke.
I wouldn't subscribe to that to the extent.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
I
100%.
believe that there
Well,
are.
I agree 100%. This
What?
is the line of opportunity.
It's
You
a
could
lot
sell-
of opportunity,
Yeah.
but okay, why we have so much poor people here
Because they
too?
want
Because
to
they
be
don't
broke.
want
And
to
they have a
Because
poor
they want
mindset.
to-
They have a poor
Yes, I
mindset.
agree.
Because they don't wanna work.
A group of people who just don't want to do anything.
No,
they don't have
they
no
don't.
ambition. They don't
No,
want to do
they
anything.
don't.
Yes, and then you have people out there who want to make a life for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but because of certain things are structured in a way, it put an obstacle in their
Well,
path
then they
for
better
them to
find.
move
Then
forward.
they have to find another way
Look,
around
how
it.
long you want to get rich or wealthy or
But what
or
is rich? What is rich?
Rich, having money, having more than what the average Joe would have.
Okay.
Right?
I think assets make you rich. Or
Yeah.
Whether it's assets or whether it's just having the physical
That's why I
funds in the
disagree
bank or
when you say
whatever the
Donald
case may
Trump
be.
is
All
poor.
of us want to have that type
Yeah.
of luxury, right? But we
Yeah,
don't.
but
Because you have to work for it.
Yes, we have to. How long you been working? How long I've been working?
Yeah.
yeah, but
And we still haven't reached
guess
to where
what?
you
But-
want.
but
you
guess
desire.
what?
No, we're
Right.
not, but we're maintaining.
You
Yes or no?
maintain, yeah, but you
We're
still.
maintaining. I don't need it. I don't need a
didn't
hand.
reach.
I don't need a handout from anybody. I don't need
We
assistance
understand that you may
in
not
finding.
need it, but you still
understand?
didn't reach where you're.
Of course
but,
not.
But in order to obtain it, you have to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You have to,
working
but
towards
people,
it.
people are doing this for decades.
Yeah,
centuries,
not
and
everyone
die.
is gonna be rich.
Die
But-
still,
but-
still in a pauper.
We were
manner.
having a conversation yesterday, right? And you know a lot of people are doing business, but they're not doing business the right way, you
Yeah.
would say, right? But they're maintaining, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're just comfortable right there.
Yeah. Just maintain.
Yeah,
it.
some
maybe,
people
maybe
become-
they want to make more, but they're not doing more to earn more.
Exactly.
But again, you can't say they may want to make more, and they may be doing to make more. But circumstances is that whatever they're doing at that
Maybe they're
moment
doing
in
it
time,
wrong. Sometimes we don't see what we're doing.
But you
wrong,
understand,
but
some
And
people,
that is
some people don't
true,
have
too.
the, you understand, some people don't have the capacity to be successful, right?
that
And they
too.
don't.
That
And they
too.
don't. And it's something. Remember, look. Let's
What,
put it
what,
this
they,
way.
what they say?
There cannot be winners if there are no. If there cannot be any
They say-
winners if there aren't any
a
losers.
smart person.
Not everybody can be a winner.
A smart person.
correct. I agree.
So
Right. A smart person could play dumb, but a dumb person
Cannot
can't
play smart.
Smart.
So you have a
Yeah.
problem.
a smart person can play.
a smart
Dumb.
person can play
Right,
dumb,
right.
but a dumb person can never play a smart person.
I seen that.
I hear a lot of people say they want to be rich. They want to be rich,
Uh-huh.
but you don't have a plan.
Exactly. They don't have a plan.
Yeah.
They may have a
working to-
plan, but how to execute it, that they may not know how to do. Or
Well, then
this
they
is
gotta-
where- This is where they're going to need somebody who have.
No,
a-
no.
What is your
no,
plan?
that's where
Do
you're
you want to
wrong.
be rich?
Of
Do you-
course.
where you're
what-
wrong.
what is your plan?
My plan is to try to start a business or running a business and put where my business, what I have currently, in a situation where I have people know about the product, people know about the service, right? So marketing as an example, you have to have good marketing to get it out there so people know who you are.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what you need to do. Are you doing it though?
I know what I need to. I'm doing it, but
Big
yet
difference,
I'm
right?
still at my location.
Big difference. You know what you need to do.
I know
but
what
are
I
you-
need to do, but I am, again, you're not listening. I am doing what I need to do.
Okay.
What I know what I need to do, but yet I'm still in a stagnant moment. Again,
Well, then you got to figure out a way to get yourself out
and
that
it's a
stagnation.
trial and error. You keep on, you're hitting
Yeah.
there, you do this, and it
So eventually
failed,
you get to it.
and
So,
you keep on,
but you
again,
don't. But there's no. But that's what I'm saying. We're adults. We're grown men. You don't need a handout. You don't need any help for anything to be implemented. Like I'm saying, when you're doing that, when you're saying that you need help from the government, that's socialism. We are not a socialist country. I do not want to live in a socialist country. I'd rather live in free enterprise.
people
and get it
need-
how I live.
People need help all the time.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
do need help, but they have to help themselves. How you expect anybody to help you if you don't help
I
yourself?
agree. I agree that help them. I mean, this is one of the biblical things.
God
that
help those who help
God help
themselves.
those who help themselves.
Yeah,
and it's practical.
you know that.
You know, he's not gonna sit there and seeing that you have the ability to go down the street and walk down the street and ask and look for interview, and then
Yeah.
you know there are certain situations where people come and knock on the door. Hey, you're looking for a job? There's
Yeah.
a situation like that.
Yeah, and that's
It's
called
rare.
that's called luck.
It's not luck. It's rare. It's just how God orchestrated it. It's rare. But at the same time, majority of the situation is that you're gonna go out there and do stuff for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I understand. But what I'm getting at is that it's not necessarily, even though you go out there and get it and try to do it, it doesn't mean that you will be successful in it. That's
No,
the
you
point
won't.
What
No,
I'm bringing
but we're
down.
not. Failure is guaranteed.
Success,
is
yeah,
not.
success is not guaranteed. The failure is. But that's just what it is. You know, don't you understand what it is? See what it is. What you're not realizing. That's the harsh truth. And nobody wants to believe the harsh truth. Everybody loves beautiful lies. I can't stand beautiful lies.
You have
I want the
I
harsh
can't stand
truth.
lies at all.
you have people go out there and
No,
try,
but people
and-
don't understand. People
Yeah.
like as a whole, like just in our society,
that
a lot
guy.
of people they believe
think
beautiful
Elon
lies.
deserves- to
Okay,
be-
so look at this guy here. That makes this. You remember the Soka gun?
Yeah,
Super Soaker.
Yeah,
Right. He went and he created an invention one time. Went and bring it to a develop. Went and bring it. It's like I remember like the
Yeah.
Shark Tank, but
Yeah.
it's not a different group.
yeah,
Boom,
An angel investor.
millionaire overnight.
yeah.
And he just go about his business. Meanwhile, you have people with other ideas and still like
Like,
below.
what kind of ideas though? Like what
Different
kind of-
ideas. You have people who, I mean, look at this idea. What was it again?
Let me ask you.
Where it was like a toy too, and the guy came. To me, the idea was brilliant. It was like one of those transformer thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a transformer thing, but it's something similar to that, right? And the pitch, the design, beautiful, goes nowhere. Guy with the soaker.
Beautiful to you.
Well, as I said, to
Yeah.
me,
I could use a Super Soaker for
Look at
a
this.
wet T-shirt contest.
You know what's the formula? Well, see, like I said, like something like that. You know what the formula is for luck, right? There's a formula for luck. You know what the formula is?
What is it?
When preparation meets opportunity. You understand? That guy that made the Super Soaker, he didn't get lucky. He prepared. He had
There's no such thing
preparation.
as luck. That's
No,
one.
that's why I'm letting you know. When preparation meets opportunity, that's luck. That's how you get luck.
But
when
you're just
preparation
saying
meets
there's
opportunity.
no such thing as luck.
Yeah, man.
I'm just
of
telling
course.
you right
Of
now.
course.
We're saying the same thing.
So because
When preparation
I-
meets
I-
opportunity, that's how you get
So
luck.
you're saying now, right? This is how you put it. I'm working, right? And I'm doing whatever based on my knowledge.
Okay.
I'm designing this thing or whatever the case may be, right?
Okay.
Brilliant idea to me, or what I always think. Now
To
you come out and you do something maybe even lower grade than what I'm doing, right? And I go out there and I put it out there.
Okay.
And people just like, you go out there and you put whatever your design, which this design you would consider is a higher design, right? And you go and you put there and people like, wow, and gravitate towards eat it up. You would say that is luck?
Yeah.
How is luck?
That's preparation because I prepared. I had a better
But that can't be luck. If
Listen,
you prepared and structured,
I prepared. I had a better presentation.
But
I
how is
presented
that
my
luck?
product
That
better.
Again, you see, you're hitting
That
it.
is luck. The formula for
If
luck
you're
is when
preparing,
preparation
how it's gonna
meets
be luck?
opportunity. Because remember,
I'm preparing, remember.
because
You're
you
using
don't,
your same
you know why
word.
it's luck? Do you know why it's
How
luck?
it's luck?
Because I'm preparing, but I don't know if it's gonna work.
But that's
So
not luck.
basically,
You're
my
preparing.
preparation,
gotta put yourself in a position
my
to
preparation met with opportunity, and when that preparation met with opportunity, that created luck for me.
That's not luck.
That's
luck is
luck.
basically you go out there and you
I'm-
spontaneously just do something.
Right.
No,
I mean,
that's
in
not.
Hoping
No,
that, hoping
In
that
general-
it will catch.
in general, that
is
might be
like
true.
throwing dirt on the wall
I
and hoping to
I
stick.
done seen a young man went to Vegas and overnight, whatever he put like the small amount of money came out with a fortune. That's luck. He never prepared for it.
no, he didn't. That's luck. That's dumb luck, actually.
Dumb luck. I like
But
that.
what I'm saying, the formula for luck is when preparation meets
You
opportunity. That's
can't
always.
use preparation in the context of using the word luck. It doesn't
Yes, you
work.
can-
Already.
look,
It's by not like
You
an
can look it
oxymoron.
up. You can look it up. When
No, it doesn't work
All
that
you got to
way.
do is Google. I just want you to Google
I'm
this. I just want you to
preparing.
Google this. I just want you to Google what happens when preparation meets opportunity, and I want to see what Google tells you.
What opportunity?
you get lucky.
preparation.
What happens
You
when
say Google is
preparation
biased.
meets opportunity?
You may be
I
successful
want
or
you.
you may not.
I want you to go on Google and see what it and show you what that is the formula for luck. I'm talking about it from a business standpoint. I'm not talking
I'm
about it
talking
from
about-
Lucky Charms. Finding
I
some
am
leprechaun
talking
at the
from a
end of the
business
rainbow or nothing
perspective.
like that. That's all fantasy. Okay, that's all. That is not reality. That is not real. There's a formula for luck, and the formula for
You
luck.
cannot prepare and
The formula for luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You
But
can
that
Google
doesn't make any
yourself.
sense.
It
What do
may
you
not
mean
make
doesn't
any
make
sense,
any
but it's the
sense?
That's
truth.
an oxymoron.
It doesn't make any sense to you.
It's not. That's not logical.
Google it. Yes, it is.
How it is?
What do you
If
mean?
I'm preparing to make this bottle,
Yeah.
and make whatever minerals
Okay.
or whatever the case may be,
Yes.
put it in that I wanted to sell.
Yeah.
I'm making it attractive. I'm making it whatever the case is.
Yes.
That's preparation.
You're constantly
right?
preparing. Yeah.
When I put it out there now,
If
it
it
would
succeeds,
based on my marketing strategy,
Yeah.
or whatever strategy
No.
I put in place where it would either make.
So you know
me-
what the luck part is?
How is it gonna be?
The luck
lucky?
part is the opportunity of that particular person
How is
of
that going to be
particular-
luck when
No,
I'm
listen. The
preparing?
luck part is the opportunity of the person that picks that up and decides to invest $5 million.
No, it is not luck. The fact that the
That
person
is luck.
see that and is attracted
That
to
is
the
luck.
person.
That's the luck of the draw. Because you could have showed that to 100 people and none of them got
You
any
know
money.
what's the next easy idea?
What?
But brilliant Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
They're kind of in
Yeah.
trouble though,
But-
but
but-
I mean, in a sense.
Airbnb, you know, you didn't have to come out of your pocket with any funds.
Nah.
You know, you just created a website and you place your home. you
Is
place
that
a-
luck?
If that I would say it's luck also.
How is it luck?
Yeah.
I mean,
You prepare, you design this thing, you put it together, you premeditate it.
And you could have got no sales. Okay, so
Yes, you could have got it, but that doesn't mean that because you do all of that is okay. So you're saying that you don't got no sales, that you're locked out then, right?
What do you mean?
You didn't get any sales. That's what they have the term. Oh, you just locked out.
You didn't get any sales, so that means that you got to keep preparing.
Right. So if you're preparing
Mm-hmm.
and putting things in place, right, and you go out there and you do whatever you need to do, and people
Yeah.
buy or people don't buy, or
So
whatever.
basically, the luck is the opportunity part. Don't you understand? The luck is the opportunity. Don't nobody have to invest in
You
you.
know what? We're gonna have to settle with agree.
All you gotta do, look, all you got to do is Google it. I just want you to Google that. Once you Google that, you're like, oh, he was right. What happens when preparation meets opportunity? And let's see what Google tells you.
I'm gonna give you.
Yeah, what happens when preparation? That's what you got to do.
Like,
Yeah.
What was your term?
but like
What
you said-
happens
Like
What
you said though, you just
When preparation
Happens.
like you said though, y'all saying the same
When-
thing.
meets opportunity.
Preparation
No, he just wants to be oppositional for no reason. That's all it is.
meet.
He just wants. What happens when preparation meets opportunity? What does it tell you?
When preparation meet opportunities often result in success and the ability to seize moments. This is often a trade framed as luck.
Told you.
Bullshit.
I told you. Look, see? That's all I see, bro. That's all I do.
It's Google.
You gotta make me want to roll home and read. Yo, Mike,
Anyways,
like,
I know a lot of
Mikey,
people-
I'll bother you and those.
check this out, right? Check this
You're
out.
so adamant about his.
If we're in a race, right, like a 100-meter race, right,
All
and
right.
everyone prays, right,
Yeah.
to God to win the race. Who's gonna win the race?
repeat that again.
If we had a 100-meter
fastest
race,
one.
the fastest one.
Huh?
The fastest person.
The fastest person.
Yes,
The
repeat
person
it,
who
repeat
prepares,
it,
right?
Yeah, the person
who
who prepared, the person who's more. Yeah, I know it definitely ain't gonna me. I'm saying I either got my money on you or you.
Because some people are natural. That's just the innate quality.
Yeah.
They have those abilities. You understand?
So reiterate.
Yeah, but that's an exception.
Reiterate your
That's an
statement you
exception.
said. You said if what?
No, I'm saying it like all of us are doing the same thing,
Uh-huh.
and all of us pray to win, like for the outcome to be the winner or on top. Who's gonna win?
The one that's better prepared for that race.
There you go.
So is that luck? See, you're coming right back to my foundation. Is
I mean,
that luck?
luck has a lot to do with it too because
How?
you
You preparing from your own word.
Yeah,
But
but-
so did everybody else.
Right. But you did a better job than everybody else.
But how so if we all prepared the same way?
No, we can't. We will never prepare the same. What you may do to get this bottle out here at the end of the day, I may do it 2 times better. Mike may
Yeah.
do it 3 times better.
All right.
Right. And then once you go out there, the better person who does the better preparation, that's who's going to succeed.
No,
Oh, my goodness. Sorry.
because the better person might not have gotten the better preparation.
It can
The
flip
one
flop,
usually
yes.
with something like that, who gets chosen is who has the better presentation.
But that's what I just said.
No, you said better preparation.
Preparation gonna bring better presentation.
I think luck,
Right?
luck has to be something that is unforeseen. You understand?
Yeah, lady
You can't-
luck.
You can't determine that it's gonna happen.
No, you're right. But what it is,
if you're prepared,
You're right, but
there's
you have a better
something
chance.
inevitable about. Say again?
But you're right. You're absolutely right. But what it is, you have a better chance of achieving good luck when you prepare to achieve good luck.
You can't-
Let's put it this way. Okay, for instance, what's a lucky thing? What's a lucky thing would be us winning the lottery, $100 million. Now,
that's not luck.
no, it is. Finance wise, I'll say I can comfortable saying finance wise, Mike is probably the most efficient in finances as far as all four of us here. I'm probably the worst because I'm horrible with money. If all of us won $100 million each, since Mike is already prepared because he does investments, he knows stocks, he knows the markets, he knows what's up, he knows what's down, bull and bear. That $100 million is going to last him a lot longer than that $100 million would last me because I don't know anything. I never learned about bull and bear. I never learned about investing. I never learned about the ups and downs, the fluctuations of the dollar and things like that. So I'm just going to spend my money like a jackass.
You're going on a different spectrum.
I'm just going to spend my money like a jackass. We both won $100 million all at the same time, but he is a lot more prepared to handle that $100 million winnings.
Knowledge how to invest his money.
That's preparation.
That's preparation.
That's preparation.
Right. So you now would say you go and squander your money. How we are tying luck into that?
Because that's bad luck. Because I shouldn't have been. First of all, I shouldn't even been lucky enough.
That's poor management. That's not have nothing to do with bad luck. You are ignorant.
Yeah, that is poor management. Exactly.
Money.
And poor management is what? Poor management is another word for being unprepared.
But that has nothing to do with luck.
Yes.
You're unprepared. That means you're bad lucky.
Exactly.
Yo, you guys need to.
Look, bro, I just Googled it. It said the same thing that I just told you. You still want to sit here?
I cannot sit here and listen to Google.
Google, huh? All right, so go on CNN and type in what happens. Let's see what it says. And then you'll agree with them, right? See?
It said a person.
I think luck is being
a person who is wise and have understanding of knowledge. There's no such thing as luck.
That's not what CNN said. You just made that up.
No, I think just being in companionship with each other. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have been back home in Belize still selling bottles for $10 a piece. It's a nickel a bottle. You understand me?
Yeah.
Like, luck is just having the opportunity to come out here and make something.
Yeah, I believe in good luck though.
But you prepared yourself for the opportunity.
I guess this is point where we
guys, when you went to the embassy, right? You go to the embassy to get a visa to come here. A lot of people go to the embassy.
And what? It's by luck?
You know what? Yeah, because when I went to the embassy, I didn't know that people pay their money for like an application fee and then get rejected or turned down. I didn't know that.
Known better.
No, I did not know. That was my first time going to the embassy.
No, I'm talking about going to. So they make judgment based on your characteristic, what they know based on where you're going, family connections, your financial.
Yeah, that's
These
what,
are the
that's,
things
that's
what they make
do,
judgment
right?
on. Right.
That's
so it can't be in any
you
luck.
have some people that are well prepared going to the embassy
and still get rejected, right?
Right.
I
wasn't well prepared. I just went and they asked me a question.
Because you didn't reach the flag what they're probably looking for.
Look.
You have people who sit there for years and put things, this is what I need to do. This is all my documents, my ducks and my Q's. And they go in, and sometimes because of their over preparedness, turn them down. Because they overlook something simple that these guys are looking for. Meanwhile, Justin will go in there and like, you know what? I just need to know that. I just need to do that, pay my fee and go in. And he go in and he's like, here you go. Good to go, sir.
Yeah, because I was prepared.
But both of us prepared. The one who sit there for days, weeks, months, going through this, getting all their docs, their paperwork and stuff like that. Do all of that.
You know what he messed up, right? He overanalyzed.
Thank you.
You do it all the time.
Thank you. You're coming home now. You're coming home.
But that's not being prepared. That's overanalyzation. No, that means you let anxiety take over. And when you let anxiety take over, now you are no longer prepared. You were just anxious.
You know, you will cut it. However you want to
nice it up. However
you want to nice it up. He overanalyzed or whatever the case make him
over prepared for an interview
to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Now the person who probably didn't go that deep sit there and is like, okay, this is not that deep. All I have to do is just bring this document, have this paperwork, pay this money, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, he was more mentally and psychologically prepared for that.
Again, you're coming home with it. At the end of the day, is that it doesn't have nothing to do with luck.
What do you mean? Yes, it does, because he was more mentally and psychologically prepared.
Believe me, I believe in lady luck. because
Huh?
Lady Luck, the ladybug too.
no luck.
No, I believe in luck also. I believe in luck very much, but I also know that I have to prepare.
We all believe in
You know, I had to
I don't
prepare.
believe in that.
For-
crap,
for
'cause
us-
there's
look,
no such
For
thing.
Look, the same
for
way-
us to meet our person, that the person
Look,
that we love,
the same
care for,
way-
and cherish.
The same
That's a
way,
lot.
say if a
That's a
hurricane,
lot
say if a
of
hur-
things,
say if a hurricane is coming, right? Say if a hurricane is coming, we have to prepare for the bad, right? You also have to prepare for the good. Just as much. A good thing is winning the lotto, but you got to know what to do with all that money.
You hear me, Mikey? Like, there's so many like women and men in the world for us to meet our person that we in love with. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is. Oh my
The
God.
odds running is in our favor like that.
I'm like, I don't really believe in that. I'm a pimp, so you know. But
Yeah, what she got anyway.
my girl watches this show too.
I know, man, but well, people, it's about that time.
I know. Yeah, we was here for a minute.
We were.
But see, look at that.
We were excited.
That's when you know when it's good conversation. You won't even realize that 2 hours goes by.
you.
Yeah, well, nah, you came in an hour late, but yeah, we've been there for 2
orchestrated in
hours.
luck over there. So, fellas, as we tie this to bring this to a close, based on what we discussed early on, with the financial structure of this country, our tariffs, what we are dealing with, unemployment is falling apart, laying off thousands of people, what Trump is doing, what China is still doing, et cetera, et cetera. What is your final thought? Where you think? I mean, I know you're saying that, things are going to get rough and then later on it's getting better.
Yep.
You're still subjected to that? You're still standing on that
Yeah,
ground?
definitely. Of course. Yeah. I'm like, things will get bad before they get good. I'm still very much optimistic about our economic future in this country. And like I said, I'm not one, let's put it this way. If I'm wrong, then I'm just wrong. But as far as right now, it's only been 100 days in office, and I feel we're still moving in the right direction. And we're going to be fine. But like I said, it's going to be bad before it gets good. The people that actually work, see, all of us, we all work. We earn our keep. We're going to be fine, okay? There might be, a couple of times where things get tight, things get skinny. But for the most part, people like us that earn our keep will be fine. Now, like I was saying, people that rely on public assistance, they rely on handouts, they rely on people helping them. They are not going to survive. And that's just natural order. That's just what it is. That's my final thought.
It's some heavy stuff.
Mr. President?
I think, like always, just trying to be as self-sufficient as we possibly can. That way we're not reliant on any one person or too reliant on any system. Just keep ourselves healthy. So that way we always able to go out there and achieve something, earn something, even a healthy living.
Mike?
Yeah, I think everything is going good so far. I don't see what you guys see. Matter of fact, I don't see what you see, Mike.
No, Mike, don't you understand? He's transitioning.
Huh?
He's transitioning to Maga Porter. He doesn't realize it yet.
Yeah.
Just you're coming home.
Yeah, he's coming home, not me. I've been
See
home.
all that doom and gloom and stuff like that.
Mike is transitioning. You'll see.
Even where the market is concerned, the market fell a lot, but like Warren Buffett would say, when people are fearful, be greedy. So you find out that like a lot of institutions or hedge funds are buying up a lot of stock.
Yeah.
So they're being greedy. So if you notice, the market actually is rallying back to our all-time high. We're not that far off. We're like what? Probably like 10 points, 10 or 6 points. And these companies, right? So if things are so bad, these companies that are reporting earnings, they're doing good. Like they're making billions of dollars. Google just reported earnings. They beat by 39%. They made what, like 95 billion?
That's a pretty big margin, 39%.
Just this quarter, right? So there's
That's a huge
four
margin.
quarters in a year, and this is what, like second quarter
We're going
or
into the
first
second quarter.
first quarter.
We just passed the first quarter. We're going to the second quarter.
Right, and they made like 95 billion.
Wow.
Amazon, I think, was like 100 and something billion. Microsoft, 100 and something billion. Meta, same thing. So
These are the powerhouses.
yeah, I don't see what you guys see. And
Mike, I really need my Shiba, my Pepe, and my Bonk coins. I need those to hit 10 cents a share. Are they going to hit 10 cents a share or no?
things.
I don't even want $1 a share. I want 10 cents a share because I got 3.5 million shares of each one of those. 3.5 million shares of each one of those. Yeah, so well, Mike says that I buy the garbage.
I don't think people I know you, man.
Well, and my thought is this, folks. We going to agree to disagree. There are some things I cannot see. There's some things they probably cannot see.
You wear a suit to the White House, sir.
There is a level of confidence from my side where things are not going to get better. It's going to get worse. It may seems that it may get better, but I'm being realist. I'm not living reality. I'm living in actuality. These guys probably live in reality, meaning reality is something that may happen. This may do this. Actuality is something that is happening. So my 2 cents is this. Again, it's coming down to our 2 cents. So my 2 cents is this. What I can foresee based on my limited knowledge, my understanding of certain things from a biblical standpoint, from a political standpoint, from a social standpoint, we are heading in something that is unspeakable. But we will see. You know,
and how do we shield ourselves from that? How do we shield ourselves?
I mean, that's a good question. How do we shield ourselves from that?
You don't. You embrace it. Don't you understand? We're entering our golden era. We're entering our golden era.
We just have to find that.
I'm not going to embrace
common ground.
We are entering our golden era. Embrace it. Watch. You're going to see him with a MAGA hat on. I'm not saying anything.
We'll see about that. Anyway.
If you embrace it, the fail gets stronger.
Folks, we thank you for, we reached it at a point in time. We were running for a while, though. We ran
for like a good 2 hours.
Our display ran out, and that's 2 hours and change. And it ran out.
We're waiting on Angel.
But
whenever Angel tells you he's gonna be here at a certain time, just put like an extra hour and a half and that, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Prime Minister, he's busy running a country, you know. He's busy running a country, but folks,
and still wear a suit.
And still wear a suit, right?
Yeah. See, Angel wears a suit. And if he went to the White House, he'd wear a suit also.
He wear a suit. A matter of fact, let me tell my boy. I'm going to tell Trump. They say, yo, I'm rolling up and I'm coming like this.
All right. Woo. He gonna come with some Clarks, cargo shorts, and a Mariner.
Clarks. I'm gonna come with my Clarks. You know, my Clarks and my Kangol.
I can see.
And a Mariner.
Yeah. Well, folks, I thank you for joining us one more time on Mike and Mike. Justin, Angel, Mike and Mike. We thank you for joining us. And, you know, again, as I said before, feel free. You can be a part of this forum. You can comment underneath the video based on what you heard. Or what statement we make. And even make a request to come and sit on the panel. We will be in delight to have you here on the panel to share your thoughts and your opinions as well, and to interact with us. Feel free. The number is there. The information is there on our channel. The contact information, the email. Feel free to email us and contact us and so forth. But last but not least, please like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a kid, tell a boy, tell a girl, tell everyone.
Yes.
Everyone who have a device that it can come and subscribe, please share that with us. We would be delightful and we would be appreciative because we want to keep on climbing to reach those numbers. Right now we at 3-something, want to go to 1,000 to 10,000 to 1 million to yada yada and go there, and you would benefit from it as well. So we thank you for your support and your continuous support, and may you continue supporting us, and we may as we bring you good information, good resources, good information so you can run with it, and you know that you're running with good, solid information, not bureaucracy, not lies, not bull crap, but you're running with good information.
The real thing.
The real thing, you know? Yeah, real thing.
I like that.
Yes.
So thank you again, and on behalf of the team, we will say
Peace. Good night.
peace out.